It's no wonder that a victory here would mean so much.
Rallycross is basically born here. Of course, Luden Hill is special for me because my son was born when I raced here in 2015.
Hello and welcome to the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. After a thrilling season that has seen World RX travel the globe, we arrive in South Africa for the 12th and final round of the year. This is the second time World RX has visited the beautiful city of Cape Town, and as the world's best rallycross drivers take to the red soil of Africa, it's time to look back at a very special season. It all started in Barcelona. With two new teams joining the fold, GRX Tanaco and GC Competition, the racing was frantic as everyone tried to establish an advantage from the very start. Old rivalries flared as Peter Solberg clashed with Matthias Ekstrom at the start of the final. Ekstrom went on to win, but the officials thought unfairly. He was disqualified, promoting defending champion Johan Kristoffersen to the top step. Spirits were high, but temperatures were low in Portugal for round two, and as the snow came down, Kristoffersen made it 2 wins in 2. Next up was Belgium, and it was the legend Sebastian Lowe who got the whole shot in the final. Kristoffersen squeezed out on 2 wheels off the start. The Frenchman bagged his second ever RX win as the season hotted up. Round 4 and the inaugural Speed Machine Festival burst into life. The headline acts got the crowd pumping off track, while the arrival of the new America's Rallycross Championship helped get the atmosphere jumping on track. Crashes and rebuilds played their part, but 3 wins in 4 in World RX saw Kristoffersen walk away in control of the championship. The UK was a max score for Kristoffersen, and as Norway, Sweden and Canada followed, so did the perfect scores. 6 wins in 7 events. Records were in danger of being smashed. Liam Dorn arrived back on the RX scene in France and brought the fight to the championship frontrunner. The Audi drivers were also taking up the challenge and leading Kristoffersen in the final, but the VW man came fighting back for a seemingly improbable last corner victory. Latvia next, and another perfect score for Kristoffersen, now 8 wins in 9. But the biggest cheers were reserved for local boy Reinis Nitish, who secured the European Supercar title on native soil. Another new venue for 2018 was the Circuit of the Americas. The World Championship arrived in the USA for the first time and teamed up with the ARX boys for their series decider. Tanner Faust took his second victory of the year, but it was Scott Speed who claimed the first ever ARX title. Texas proved to be the weekend of champions. Kristoffersen took home the winner's Stetson, broke more records, but most importantly captured his second FIA World Rallycross Championship title. Estering was the venue for round 11, and as Kristoffersen took his 7th perfect score and 10th victory of the season, the world of sport could only sit back in amazement at near perfection in play. There have, though, been others who have dominated on RX's biggest stage. Kenneth Hansen in 2002 and 2003 scored 6 wins in 10. Timur Timosyanov the same in 2012. And back in 1989, Matti Alamäki scored an impressive 9 wins in 11 in the European Rallycross Championship, then the highest level of the sport. But if Johan Kristoffersson wins here in South Africa to make it 11 in 12, we are witnessing something unique in rallycross and perhaps in elite world motorsport.
It does feel good to win so many races in the World Championship, especially when it's not a domination in rally and Formula One at the moment, and to be able to win so many races in rallycross when the sport is at its highest level as it's ever been. I mean, it will feel nice in 10-15 years when I'm looking back at the sport where it was at the moment. But right now, you know, you're so focusing on being at the moment and doing your job and looking a little bit, you know, shorter distance forward.
311 points and still room to add more tells you all you need to know about the champion season. Below him, it's now a two-way battle for second. Petter Solberg is realistically out of the fight after a third new engine since Germany and a 15-point penalty. Let's take a look at the drivers in that battle for second place. EKS Audi Sport teammates Matthias Ekström and Andreas Backerud just points apart after a similarly up and down season. They've met 29 times on track. 52% of the time it has gone Andreas Backerud's way. But when you look at where the wins are, Ekström slightly ahead in qualifying, but 4 wins in the semis to 2 for Backerud. And of course, he did have that win in Barcelona before the stewards took it away. This may be their last race as teammates, but nostalgia won't get in the way of a good fight.
Well, in a close battle, you always focus on yourself to do as well as possible. And obviously scoring second when the championship have been dominated so much about Johan, then second place is all in.
Priority one is to make sure we keep second and third in the drivers. Once that box is ticked, then you know, we will have a race for the race win and try to get some trophies home.
It's always good to have something to show that you are a good driver. It's not many available spots in the paddock, so finishing up a season with second obviously means a lot when you are going on the table to negotiate new contracts.
Before the action gets underway, let's take a look at the track. Killarney International Raceway just outside Cape Town in South Africa. Over 1 kilometre long, 60% asphalt and 40% classic red African dirt. We ride on board with Andreas Backerud away from the start. It's a fairly long, flat, slightly uphill run towards the first corner. We saw carnage here last year with people trying round the outside, round the inside. There are alternative lines. It then tightens into the right before the first transition to dirt. Take a lot of curb on the right and then a huge amount of curb on the left. Open the throttle up early and over the jump. Back onto tarmac, a good overtaking opportunity here as we go into a right-left chicane. Mind those tyre bales on the right-hand side. Big curb again on the left, back onto dirt. The standard lap goes right here. Backward, splits off to the left onto the Joker. It's tarmac for the Joker and very fast, but then on the brakes, tightening to the right and back onto dirt. It's important to get the wheels straight here. Give yourself the best traction because the Joker lap comes in alongside you, and we saw some really close merges. Braking then for a crest dip chicane to complete the lap in South Africa. The longest break in the season came to an end in style in South Africa. Air displays, sunshine, big crowds, and turn one did not disappoint. Solberg and Ekström were first to put on a show for the crowd. Solberg inside, kicking up the dirt. Ekström trying to go around the outside, and a hungry Kevin Eriksson waiting to pick up the pieces. Ekström edged Eriksson off the jump, but couldn't challenge Solberg for the win, and fastest time in Q1 so far. The world champion was looking for a strong start, chasing his 11th win of the year, but lost out to Scheider and Loeb in the first corner. He retook Scheider with a strong move at the chicane. It was looking unusually ragged later in the lap. In the end, an equally unusual technical issue pitched him into a spin over the jump, leaving Loeb unchallenged to go fastest overall, and Kristoffersson at the opposite end of the timesheet. The final race of Q1 proved the Peugeots have got great pace in Africa. Timmy Hansen was absolutely flying, first matching and then beating his teammates' fastest lap of the day. But a tiny mistake on the Joker gave Q1 to load by just 1/10 of a second. Q2 started with a masterclass from Kristoffersson. A brilliant start, followed by a succession of fast laps to set a time that would undoubtedly be hard to match. Mattias Ekström didn't have it so easy at the start of his race, having to fight hard for the all-important hole shot in the dust. Once he'd secured the lead, he didn't look back. And if he had, he'd have seen Timoš Jarnov struggling with a puncture that saw him clip the wall over the jump. Ekström's race win saw him P2 with one race to go. The final race of day one saw what Solberg himself described as a magic start to lead the field. Behind him, Loeb was having a hard time matching his own Q1 pace, with Baccarat taking full advantage. Solberg had a clear run to the flag, but couldn't quite match his teammate, while Loeb's speed and consistency saw him take the overnight TQ.
First place at the moment, but it's so close between the 5 first, because I won a hit, but I was 6th only in the second one, so the battle is on. I think it's really intense. We saw some very close performance between the Volkswagen, the Audis and the Peugeot, so at the moment nothing is done, but tomorrow I will have a pole position again to start the day, so hopefully I can use it on the right way and try to do a good result again.
Sebastian Loeb then top of the table overnight at the final round of 2018 from Solberg, Timmy Hansen, Baccarat and Ekström still close together in that battle for second. Kristoffersson, Kevin Hansen and Yannis Baumanis. Currently just inside the semi-finals, Markland, Gronholm, Schischrit and Eriksson. Everyone else with work to do tomorrow.
So a nice story developed overnight. First of all, Oliver, tell us what happened yesterday and why you weren't able to finish.
Yeah, so we pulled onto Q1 for the start line. There was a long start hold and then we had to do a restart. On the restart, the lights went, I went, but unfortunately the car didn't. It stalled straight away. Then we realised I had a turbo problem, so we just sat out then, got it back into the pits and the turbo had gone. So the bearing failed, which meant really our weekend was over.
And then how does Niklas's team come into play with this?
I think we had a spare turbo that wasn't registered, so it was the last race of the season, so we didn't need it. So they came along and asked for one, so we handed it.
I mean, it's been a great season for you, and this is a very nice kind of way to finish it off, to help another competitor to see in the last day of the season. But for you personally, what do you hope for today?
I hope for clean races. It's been a lot of traffic and stuff going on. I hit a tire wall. It's one own mistake, but yeah, a bit cleaner day and good racing.
And Oliver, first of all, just anything you'd like to say to Niklas and his team for helping you to compete the last day of the championship?
Yeah, just thank you, Niklas and the team. It was great for them to help us out. Like I said, the weekend would have been over for us. We don't carry those sort of spares, so yeah, it's been great. We're allowed to do some more laps. We're going to do a bit of testing, so I think we're probably out of the running now. But yeah, we're going to enjoy the racing and have fun.
And just give us a sense of how extraordinary it is that this sport allows a privateer like you to line up on the grid alongside multiple world champions and future world stars, and hopefully to raise your game to become one of them too.
Yeah, well, it's pulled me on a lot this year. I went back to the British last week and the pace was really strong there, so it definitely pulls you on. And it's great to be racing with these guys. We've built a car in a couple of months in the winter that's competing quite well. We've got a lot to learn. We're going to test in the winter for next year, but yeah, it's great learning the tracks, learning the sport, and it's great fun.
And in terms of the part in the car that you gave to him, is it the same as he has? Is it homologated, or does he have to sort of bend it into shape to fit it into the car?
Don't ask me. I don't know. I think it's reasonably easy and same as he had. So yeah, it should be bolt on and go.
But now, if you find yourself in the same race, are you going to hope that he'll let you go in front just to return the favour?
I don't know if we are in the same. Maybe.
So I'm in with a Hyundai in Q1, so yeah, these guys are fighting for the semis, I'm not, so I'll play fair.
Okay. And just quickly, finally, a word about this circuit and how it is to drive here in South Africa.
The track layout is quite okay, I think, but we have some issues with the dust. It's really hard to see in some places, especially over the jump when sometimes it builds up like a wall, so you can't see anything, but otherwise it's quite fun.
Well, look, all the best today, and it's great that you'll get to race the last race of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello from South Africa for the last round of the World Rallycross Championship. My name's Andrew Coley. I will be your commentator today. Joining me is Marius Roberts, local car and motorsport expert. Neil Cole, of course, reporting from the paddock. As it stands, Sebastian Loeb, the overnight TQ after winning Q1. Johan Kristoffersen with a brilliant fight back after a disastrous Q1 to get himself up into P6. Schischeret, Ericsson, Scheider and Larsen either side of the all-important P12. First race of Q3 saw Timothy Hansen trying to recover from yesterday's puncture and contact with the wall over the jump. Gregoire de Moustier looked to go around the outside. Turn 1 had been modified with a tyre bale on the inside, meaning there was less gravel and more alternative lines. Ollie Bennett spanned on the exit of the Joker lap. Tim Hansen held on to take the win. Cars all up and good to go. Here's the lineup. Baumanis on the inside, Kevin Eriksson and Robin Larsen, teammates side by side. Eriksson looked just in 12th, Larsen just out in 14th. Baumanis having a good weekend in 8th, and you can see he's confident. He's left the old tyres on the car. That's gone on going for new boots in P10. Rennie Munich, new tyres on the outside in P16. Marshall to leave the grid, then the cars. There's the whistle. Nicely organised, and you'll see the marshal now just note to each of the driver to get ready for the launch. Revs up a bit early for a few people there. Now you hear the revs rise when the ready to race light comes on. Look for the green. Oh, great start by Gronholm. So Gronholm's got a really good start, hooked up at Ericsson on the inside of him too. Gronholm trying to come around the outside, shut the door on them. Up the inside, Baumanis. Super sideways, Larsen goes to the outside line, smokes the tyres up, finds some grip, and Larsen all the way around the outside to take the whole shot.
That is fantastic action into turn 1, just what we wanted to see, and great car control by Larsen. We had a great start by Nicholas Gronholm. He needs a new rubber because he's been very slow this weekend, but that is sideways action. Larsen showing the guys the way.
Coming from completely from out of the battle, you have Baumanis coming up the inside of Gronholm. We're looking at Eriksson as well, and Larsen's done exactly what we said he'd be able to do with those better conditions. Eriksson's gone Joker with Munich as well, so Larsen leads this one. He's under huge pressure. Baumanis right up underneath the back of Larsen. He needs to find a way past. We know Baumanis has got good pace here, but passing is not going to be that easy. Baumanis a nose up the inside into turn 1. Larsen runs a bit wide. Baumanis slots up the inside in the start machine. Surely he'll go late on the brakes. Oh, contact between the two. He still holds on to the position. This is a great race.
But Andrew, that is what is so great. You can shut the door through corner 2 and into 3 and line yourself up for the jump. But Baumanis had pace yesterday, showing it again. But great driving by Larsen.
So Eriksson here is already on the back of this pack. These guys are holding each other up. Baumanis goes Joker, but I think he's going to be too late. I think Eriksson's going to get him. That one lap behind Larsen has cost him.
That is a great call by the spotters, sending him in. Baumanis needs a bit of clean time, but he needs to get out.
Got him.
And he's got, oh man,
Eriksson's
this is not
got
what
him.
he needed.
Exactly, so Eriksson's got Baumanis. Eriksson's been quick to be fair, but we know Yannis is having a really good weekend. Gronholm now bottled up behind Larsen. So Larsen this year, some of his social media posts have proved I don't think he's been having the best time. He is such a spectacular driver though. It's been a pleasure to have him back in the World Rallycross Championship. Look how sideways he is. It's maximum attack everywhere.
And let's remember, he's running on old rubber, and behind him, Nicholas Gronholm has got the new shoes on, and he's still being able to hold him off. So this is fantastic driving by Larsen. Looks like they've woken up with Sunday ready to race.
Gronholm's going to have to go Joker surely, and he doesn't. Gronholm waits, so Gronholm does go. Gronholm does go. It's so I'm looking at Baumanis stuck behind. So we've got the two OMSE cars with cars up behind them.
Baumanis and oh, look how close that is.
Baumanis trying to have a look. So Gronholm has managed to get past Baumanis. How much is this going to hurt their times though, Morris? Because remember, we're racing for time here.
Eriksson has been holding up big time Baumanis, so he's really lost out there, and now he's lost another place to Gronholm from 2nd to 4th. Not good.
Eriksson looking like he's going to get his teammate Larsen by 1.1 seconds. Larsen holding on to the last lap. Rennie Munich trying to make a pass on Yannis Baumanis in the background. Look there, side by side. Munich trying to go around the outside. Has Baumanis got a problem? I think he has. Yeah, Baumanis has dropped off the back. Here we go, they're coming round for the merge. Teammates at the merge on the inside. Eriksson on the outside. Larsen's going to carry good speed, but Eriksson's going to get it. It's going to be between Larsen and Gronholm for P2. Larsen's up the inside, shuts the door emphatically in Gronholm's face. Eriksson's going to take this one. It's a 1-2 for OMSE. Gronholm coming through for P3, and that is a great qualifying race. It's not the best time, but I don't care. They will.
No, listen, that is what we've come to watch. Unbelievable. What a way to start the morning. Is it only 10 o'clock?
Wakey, wakey. Great stuff. Okay, so first of all, Baumanis has parked the car in turn 1. From the commentary position, Baumanis has parked the car in turn 1. So we thought he had some sort of an issue. There it is.
I don't know.
He's out of the car. Crowd really enjoyed that. Baumanis, okay, I can't see any smoke or anything. He's staying in the car. Okay, he's out now. Kevin Eriksson takes it from Robin Larsson. Gronholm, Munich and Baumanis. Gronholm and Baumanis held up just a little bit there by the OMSE cars, but great tactics by Eriksson and Larsson to manage to take the 1-2. However, you can see from the times there that Timo Timoziano is still at the top of Q3. Talk us through this start, Marius.
What an amazing start, because actually Nicholas Gronholm got a great launch, but the two teammates working together from OMSE coming to close the door, look at the contact, and Larson said, thank you, you guys fight for it, I'm going to show you some cool driving skills around the outside.
He backed out of the first corner battle on the brakes. What was interesting to me, he backed right out of it, stuck in behind, and then goes, actually, do you know what, I'll have a look.
But that is now, with the clean conditions on the outside, you're able to confidently put your car on that outside line through turn 1 and line yourself up for turn 2. But great work. But this Larson did so well. Look how defensively shut the door here on Baumanis. And Baumanis got held up here, and that is where his race went. Backwards, backwards, backwards.
Tricky for those guys, because obviously if you joker early, you stand a chance of meeting the slower guys in your quali race. That's, of course, why you want to be in with the quick guys, because you can joker when you want. You're unlikely to catch the pack. But Eriksson jokering early, managing to catch up with the pack very early in the race, and that, of course, put him in pole position. Basically, when everybody else jokered, he took the front of the pack. Great drive, Kevin Eriksson.
Kevin, that was a great race to watch, and it looked like the early joker strategy was the perfect call.
Yeah, it worked out good. We still lack the speed, but we're working on it, taking step by step. It's a nice way to get a race win, but we still need a bit more speed to be really in the game in the later stages.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a look at the lineup then for Q3 Race 3. Loeb on the inside from Anton Markland, Kevin Hansen, Gulan Schischrit and Timo Scheider. Loeb, look, overnight TQ, but has chosen to put new tyres on the car. Now, they said in the press conference yesterday this car is exceptional on new rubber, but we'll have a chat during this race about what that might mean for the semi-finals. Okay, so two sets of teammates in this one. Markland and Schischrit, Hansen and Loeb. Scheider on the outside, doesn't need to worry about any team orders or any team safety. Just loves rallycross and said this morning he's going to send it. Let's see if he does. Markland creeping, just about holds on, but loses out big time at the start. Loeb on the inside with a great start. Kevin Hansen slots in behind him. Loeb with a massive hole shot down towards turn 1. Schischrit's not going to be able to get around the outside of that. Timo Scheider's trying to go around the outside of the whole pack. Where's Scheider going to slot in, or is he going to get marked at turn 2? Should be on the inside for turn 3, but he loses out, drop back. He might get 4th. Sebastian Loeb, though, with the whole shot, and that is what he needed.
That is what I said to you. He's got Q1 position. He's on new rubber. If he gets a clean start, he can make sure that his timing is going to be right up at the top, lining him up for a good grid position heading into Q4.
Now, we said these cars are exceptional on new rubber, but remember, they only get 8 tyres a weekend unless they've managed to somehow save a pair from earlier in the season. They got 12 at the first 2 rounds. We know that Loiat was abrasive. We know Latvia was abrasive. We know Kota was hot. Have Peugeot managed to save a couple of tyres at the end of the year, or are they trying to secure a place on the front of the grid? Because Marius, I thought they would save new rubber for the semis because they want to be on the front row for the final if they want to beat Volkswagen.
But perhaps it is making sure that they've got the advantage going into the semi as well. Look, we don't know what PSRX has, so we'll see that in a
lap of the day.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt, so here we go. Here we go.
40.3, that's pretty much what they were running this morning in the warm-up. But interesting that Scheider got past Schischrit through turn 3 and still chose to go for the joker lap. So I think he's now obviously got some clean air in front of him and chasing down Markland, who's shown great pace. These GCK cars have done well this weekend. Markland's been on the pace, 7th fastest in Q2 yesterday. So the guys certainly have got those Renault Megans working well.
So Sebastian Loeb, 2 40.3s in a row, so he's absolutely flying. Fastest lap yesterday was Timmy Hansen, which was a 40.3.
Have a look at Timo Scheider, 41.2. That is unbelievable.
40.3s for Loeb, 2 in a row. He's matching the quickest lap from yesterday. So this is all about Loeb and whether or not he can take the TQ. So can he hold on to that position that he had overnight, down towards the bottom hairpin again? Him and Kevin Hansen electing to wait for the joke at the end. Here goes Markland. So watch for Markland and the merge. He's fighting with Timo Scheider on the inside line. Oh, this one will be close. Markland should have good exit speed here. Watch for the merge. Scheider's a little bit sideways, and Markland's got it easily.
And we actually heard Andreas Bakkerud talking about it just before this race, about how important it is to have that car pointed straight during 7 and 8, and Timo wasn't.
40.3 for Loeb again. Loeb has banged in 3 40.3s in a row. That's as quick as this track has gone all weekend. Sebastian Loeb with 3 in a row, aiming for the fastest time of the weekend so far, but certainly aiming for the fastest time here in Q3 Sunday morning. Goes to the Joker. Kevin Hansen going to go with him. Target time 2:53.2. Yes, they did a 2:51.0 and a 2:51.2 with the winning times. I think Loeb might go quicker than that with those bales on the inside of turn 1. Here we go then, up to the crest dip chicane. Sebastian Loeb aiming to destroy the timesheets. 2:49.6, fastest time of the weekend to Sebastian Loeb. Goes top of Q3, 42.7. That's the quickest Joker lap we've seen all weekend as well, by 0.3 of a second. Loeb has absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark.
He couldn't have wanted a better race. New rubber Q1, he did exactly what he needed to do. That's amazing.
Unbelievable. If you're going to put new tyres on it,
make it work.
Exactly.
Crowd's loving it.
They should be. That is a masterclass. Kristoffersson will have to absolutely go hell for leather to beat Sebastian Loeb. 2:49.6. Kevin Hansen P2, Markland P3, Scheider P4 and Shisha at P5. But this is it. Look, Loeb to the top of the table. Both the Peugeots, in fact, to the top of the table. Interesting, Kevin Hansen not that much quicker than Timosyanov. Timosyanov may be dragging himself up into the semi-finals. We've only got 5 cars to go, so he's definitely going to get a P8 here. But Sebastian Loeb, fastest time of the weekend. His second time that he's at the top of the tables, but of course he's got 5 cars still to come. That includes Kristoffersson, Solberg, Ekstrom, Hansen and Bakkerud. So all to play for with 1 race to go. Let's hear from Loeb.
Sebastian, every lap was quick, it was consistent. That's got to be as close to perfection as you can get.
Yeah, it was a good run again. I could take the lead in the first corner. I was very secure in the first corner not to be overtaken, because it can be sometimes tricky, and after that, good rhythm, good push, no big mistake, so what a good one.
Well done, thank you.
Take a look back at the start. Absolutely hooked up, look, and as he said, he was secure to be not passed in the first corner.
Well, that was critical. He had the line in. Turn 1, we know, is the quickest line. New rubber. To have a look at Timo Scheider trying to go around the outside.
Tried it, didn't he?
Being aggressive here, trying to hold on that position, but this is where him and Shisha got held up, and he chose to go for their Joker lap early, but Loeb, just precision, pinpoint accuracy and driving. Nice having your teammates supporting you as well.
Yeah, not really in any danger, was he? Scheider, I think, if he'd been a couple of metres further forward on the exit of turn 1, he might have been able to make that work. But have a look at this from Sebastian Loeb. We saw 3 perfect laps on the standard lap. In here, look. Interesting. No, okay, fine. So, gets it stopped, anchored up, gets it straight. It's what Hansen was trying to do yesterday, but Loeb made it to the apex, and that's the difference. And he takes the fastest Joker lap of the weekend as well. Brilliant drive by Loeb. Can anyone beat him in the last race of Q3? Right, let's take a look then at the grid for the final race of Q3. On the inside, the world champion, Johan Kristoffersson, double world champion, retaining that title. 10 wins out of 11. He's aiming for 11 out of 12 here. His teammate Solberg next to him. Ekstrom in the middle of the grid, Timmy Hansen and Andreas Bakkerud. We've got 2 new tyres on the outside for Kristoffersson. Will that be enough for him to beat the time of Loeb? If it is, pretty ominous for them for the rest of the weekend. Of course, he's got to get the job done down to turn 1, and that low rumble of these fantastic rallycross cars. Been a brilliant World Championship season, and you're about to see 5 of the best go down to turn 1. Low rumble from these factory spec cars on the way down to the first corner. Kristoffersson with a good start. Ekstrom's made a bit of space. Solberg slots in behind. Bakkerud goes round. Hansen's going to try around the outside in the Peugeot. He's picked up understeer on the exit. I don't think he'll manage to get past Kristoffersson, but he's sideways up the inside of Solberg into P3. Hansen managed to get P3, so Kristoffersson, though, with the whole shot. This is now Kristoffersson, the double world champion, versus Loeb, the 9-time world rally champion, for top time in Q3.
And you picked it up. We're going to see now if he can match Loeb's time with only 2 new tyres on the left-hand side. As you said, it's going to be tough for the rest to beat him. But Timmy Hansen did it around the outside.
Yeah, great move.
Peter Solberg immediately went behind his teammate. So that is a move that is possible this weekend. The drivers have got a lot to consider now that turn 1 is clean.
Really good from Kristoffersen. 40.1.
Wow, he's on it straight away.
2/10 faster, so Kristoffersen's gone 2/10 quicker, fastest lap of the day for Johan Kristoffersen. It is absolutely on between him and Sebastian Loeb. He'll know what he needs to do. Up and over the jump, perfectly straight. You can hear them hit the limiter and then come down. There's a little miniature crest after it and a bit more airborne again. So Kristoffersen is chasing that time. He means business.
And good to see Solberg and Baccarin have jokered early, giving themselves a clean track so they can chase down the leaders. So it's going to turn into a very, very close merge on the last lap.
Great spot. And Solberg, of course, giving himself the same amount of clear space that Kristoffersen's got. First lap 44.0. Sebastian Loeb's Joker was quicker than that last time out. So Hansen on a big push too. Timmy Hansen in behind. Kristoffersen 1.5 back. 40.0. Oh my goodness me. He's taken another 10th off the fastest lap. This is unbelievable for Kristoffersen. No wonder the number one's on the side of the car. Incredible. Oh, so behind Kristoffersen, it's all kicking off between Hansen and Ekstrom. Ekstrom still right underneath the rear wing of the Peugeot. They come through the chicane. Is Ekstrom going to go Joker or not? I'm surprised he hasn't. So Ekstrom hasn't gone Joker. He's going to wait and go with Hansen at the end. And again, look, it looks like Hansen's checking him up on the brakes down in the bottom corner there. So interesting to see what the tyre tactics are for the Peugeot. We know it's super fast when it's on brand new boots, but maybe not going quite so well this time for Hansen. Kristoffersen out front with another fastest lap. 39.9. This is unbelievable. I didn't think anyone would be able to match Loeb, and Kristoffersen is doing it lap after lap. He's just got to get the Joker right, because Loeb had that absolutely bang on the money. Fastest Joker of the weekend for Sebastian Loeb, and Kristoffersen now needs to provide the same. Look at that. Backs the Polo into the chicane. The fight's still going on behind him between the Peugeot and the Audi. Here comes Kristoffersen. Then watch this. Can he nail this one too? Down to the braking zone. Rotates the car nicely. On the gas early. It's absolutely perfect. 2:49.6 at the time. Sebastian Loeb's going to be so close. Hansen versus Solberg. Solberg drops in behind the Peugeot. Kristoffersen coming down to take the checker flag, and behind him, Hansen gets P2. Kristoffersen's done it. 2:48.5, just over a second faster than Sebastian Loeb. He has done what we thought was impossible. The world champion takes Q3. Unbelievable performance by him. What a drive. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Look what it means to him in the car. He's absolutely pumped. He smashed it. Brilliant drive, Johan Kristoffersen. Absolutely brilliant drive.
Are we allowed to applaud in the commentary box?
Yeah, we can do it. You can do what you like.
Man,
up here.
that was amazing.
That is 3 fastest laps in a row to manage to take, as well as him, what's the Joker? And the Joker too.
Was a 42.7.
So it's not only has he knocked tenths off the standard lap, he's knocked a couple of tenths off the Joker as well. Kristoffersen with only 2 new tyres on the car, meaning he's definitely got another pair left to play later. Goes to the top of the table. Look, Sebastian Loeb so close, but not enough. Timmy Hansen P3, then Solberg, Ekstrom, Baccarin, Hansen and Timmer's Yarnov with a good result. Will that be enough to see the Russian go through to the semi-finals?
Johan, we thought Sebastian's time was good, but you smashed it, and you just did a little fist pump. We can see how much it means to you when you get a race like that.
Yeah, that was really good. First of all, I had a great launch again, and yeah, I put 3 new tires because I was a little bit off the back foot from yesterday, so I really needed a good time here to be able to fight for the top qualifying spot. So I saw Timmy was P2. It's going to be a tight battle in Q4 as well, but I'm in a good position. Launches are great, and we did some small changes to the car, so it's feeling really good.
But just talk us through that lap a little bit. If you're hitting all the apexes right and all the grip is right, how did you get it so quick compared to yesterday?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's all about the details beforehand going into the race, and we did some changes before this race on the warm-up to try something, and yeah, the car felt really, really good, and when it feels good, I can push as much as I can with no mistakes. I was really on the edge in the Joker lap, but I think that was just perfect.
Well done, thanks, Johan.
Thank you.
Well, just perfect is about right, isn't it? Look at this. Kristoffersen on the inside. Nice angle from the start there for us to see as well that it was equal between him and Ekstrom. Backward slotted in behind. In fact, the 2 teammates slotted in behind. Timmy went for the round the outside, but he didn't quite get enough turn in, it seems, Marius.
But what happened is Matthias had a good start, but Timmy actually came from the outside and squeezed him and lined that up. So that is now an option for the guys going around the outside. But I cannot believe how quick and smooth Johan Kristoffersen is showing his class. Double world champion for very good reason.
Absolutely brilliant drive by him. Knocking tenths off the standard lap, knocking tenths off the Joker lap. knocking 1.1 second off the time of Sebastian Loeb. We thought it was unbeatable. It turns out, of course, it wasn't. There's only one person who's unbeatable at the minute, and that is Johan Kristoffersson. Is that a sign he's going to make 11 out of 12? Here you go then, these are the standings after Q3. Sebastian Loeb, in fact, is still the top qualifier at this point, but we've seen the pace of Johan Kristoffersson. After that disaster in Q1, he wins Q2 and Q3 to drag himself up to P2. Timmy Hansen and Solberg, so we've got 2 Peugeots and 2 Volkswagens in the top 4. We then have the 2 Audis, P5 and P6. So at the minute, the Audis on equal qualifying points and, of course, fighting for P2 in the championship are going to be on row 2 in the semi-finals. They will desperately want to make it up to the front row. Kevin Hansen 7th, Anton Markland doing well down in 8th. But of course, this is the pace that matters. Timos Yarnov, great job, dragged himself up from 15th to 9th. Baumanis has held on to 10th. Can they get that car fixed in time for Q4? Ericsson and Scheider. So Schischrit, Gronholm, Larsen and Munich knocking on the door to try and make it through. And look, it's super tight on the points. It's anyone's to get through to the top 12. Well, for the last time this year then, let's take a look at some fantastic slow motion images from the brilliant Cape Town Rallycross track, Killarney International Raceway. Sebastian Loeb coming up over that jump. Marius, quite significant air here, but that's partly because this year the drivers are able to use the curb a lot more before the jump.
One of the improvements they made to the circuit where that curb was getting exposed, but it's a very tricky corner 3 because take too much curb, the car gets really unsettled and you're hitting that jump crossed up, which is not what you want. And we actually saw in race footage yesterday some overtakes being done after the jump where one car lined it up perfectly, like you can see Kristoffersson there getting it perfectly on point. So a challenging jump actually.
Ekstrom through the right-left chicane, which is the section directly after, which is where you were saying about the braking zone. But this is one of my favourite shots that we've got of the cars coming around and really heavily using the curb on that left-hander. And you can actually see the car three-wheeling one of the rear wheels coming off the ground, helping it to rotate.
You know what makes this such a great corner too? Because you've really got to think about how to approach that chicane if you want to take the Joker. Because the entry to the Joker is just after that chicane, and getting in there is very, very tricky. So how much you're rotating the car through that and how much curb you use is critical.
Gulan Schischrit through the same corner. Schischrit not using as much curb as Ekstrom did.
And he's actually hanging the tail out a lot more. Now that almost looks like the perfect approach to take the Joker. That is how I would run it there. The curb is going to be your traditional run into the tight hairpin.
So he's almost using the extra rotation to point it towards the Joker exit rather than straight down.
Have a look, straight through into the Joker. So that's spot on.
Niklas Gronholm having a brilliant year this year. Definitely most improved. This looks to me like the very long hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. And again, this is all gravel. And at this point, of course, you're keeping one eye on the guy who's on the Joker lap around the outside. But you can't get on the gas here too early.
It's a very interesting corner because you can see he's actually gone on there quite early. And have a look, he's actually got the car straightened up again. And that for me is how you've got to nail that hairpin spot on, because drive out of here is critical because the merge with the Joker is at high speed.
Yanis Baumanis through the same corner, trying to get the car rotated, have all 4 wheels facing the same way, just a nudge over the curb, and beautifully done by the Latvian.
That's actually spot on. I think that is the perfect approach through that corner, so well done to Yanis, and he's had good pace the whole weekend.
He has indeed. In the start run machine. So it's then a drag race down to meet the Joker lap coming in from your left-hand side. Timo Scheider through that chicane. Great to have Scheider back with us this weekend in the Seat Ibiza from Munich.
You know, I think for us as well, there's a lot of circuit racing approach to this course. It's a high-speed course, so it really is going to be to his advantage. Great racing, great analysis.
Fine.
So that begins very own. We're going to give him lots of support out there. Come on, we need to bump him up and...
Just one qualifying session remaining in 2018, and at the moment Sebastian Loeb is the top qualifier. Johan Kristoffersson close behind, having won Q2 and Q3. Hansen, Solberg, Ekstrom, Backrud, Kevin Hansen, Anton Markland, your top 8. At the minute, Timos Yarnov, Baumanis, Ericsson and Scheider are in, but look, Schischrit and Gronholm super close for a place in the semis. First race of Q4, Yanis Baumanis looking to get a decent run here and guarantee his place in the semi-finals. He got the whole shot ahead of Rennie Munich and de Moustier, who had a problem at turn 2. there the Latvian really didn't look back. Another good run in the start of yesterday, finishing off the season in style, and that should be enough to see Baumanis in the semis. Right, here we go then, race 2 of Q4, the final qualifying session of the year, lined up and ready to go. Only 4 in this one, and that of course is because Bennett disappeared from the first race. So Kevin Eriksson, Milan Schischerit, Robin Larsson and Niklas Gronholm. Schischerit, 4 new tyres on the car. Look where he is, 13th after Q3. But he's 13th by, who's equal in fact with 12th in Timo Scheider. He's only a point, 2 points off being P9 ahead of Timos Yarnov. So Schischerit is the man we need to watch in this one. Got to do a good time compared to everybody else. That could see him into the semis, and it might see Scheider, Eriksson or Baumanis knocked out. So Baumanis we've just seen. What can Galant do? Well, he's got a good start. That's the most important thing. In between the 2 MSC cars. In fact, he looks like he's out-dragged Eriksson. Contact between Eriksson and him down towards turn 1. Eriksson bullies his way through. Larsson trying to go around the outside. Larsson gets turned round. So did he go on the gas too much, or did he get a nudge from his teammate Larsson? It didn't work out this time. He got it last time. This time it hasn't. It's Eriksson. And in fact, over the jump, Eriksson leading from Schischerit. Schischerit having a look up the inside. No room there. Gronholm. Schischerit's going to have a look. Is he to the right? Watch out. He needs to defend from Gronholm. Gronholm's taking the racing line. Schischerit compromises himself, but manages to hold on to the position.
There's got to be a move to Joker right now, I'm sure. So we've got Schischerit taking Joker. Interesting call. Larsson decided to start. He's wasted the new rubber. He's also got some new tackies on, and there was a waste of the Cooper rubber there. You like a South African term?
That's that term. I love a local term. There's new tackies on there for Larsson. And Larsson with that mistake in turn 1. We'll take a look back at the replays in a minute. But Schischerit feels he's quicker. Dave Mansfield, his spotter, has sent him to the Joker. And in fact, look at the back of the pack. Schischerit's almost on them already. So it's definitely the right thing to do. The big problem he's got here, in my opinion, is whether or not Larsson goes Joker. Because if he doesn't, the time's going to get lost anyway.
He needs the spotter to call Larsson in right now. That's what he'll be hoping for sure.
Look at this. Look at this. Already showing that Schischerit would go into the lead from where he's now. He's joking. In 1 lap, he's made up enough time to be able to take the lead. But he's now behind Larsson. This is a disaster for Schischerit. He's got to beat the times of the guys who are ahead of him. He needs to beat the time of Eriksson, who's ahead of him. And he was aiming for the time of Baumanis.
Look, the wrong guy went for the Joker there.
Yeah, he needed Larsson to go, didn't he?
Not Gronholm, but Gronholm's gone and taken it.
The thing is now, with Eriksson leading from Larsson, OMSC are going to hold Larsson out there so that he can't get the overlap on Kevin.
Of course, that's a very good spot, Andrew. They're so close on points, trying to secure that semi-final position. They're going to play team tactics here for sure.
100%.
And hold out till the very last and hold Schischerit up.
100%.
Unfortunate, the Frenchman's been looking fast.
I'll be staggered. I'll be staggered if Larsson goes now. It would be unusual tactics, and he doesn't. It's exactly the right thing to do. That's exactly the right thing to do. So Schischerit now has to hope these guys don't lose too much time. What lap time did he do? He did a 41.6. Okay. Trouble is, yeah, 40.9. Schischerit's capable of a half second quicker than these guys are in front of him based on his lap 2 time. But if there's nowhere to get past Marius, he's just going to have to hold on. It will be better to follow and not have a problem than it is to try to pass and lose a second.
Look, I mean, I feel sorry for him because, like you said, new tyres. He really needed to have a good start there. Oh, Larsson pushing it to the very edge, going over that jump, trying to catch Eriksson. But this is where they're going for the Joker.
At the minute, Schischerit's going to have this by 1.1, it seems. Into the Joker, go the 2 MSC cars. Here we go. Watch for Galant Schischerit on the inside. He's stayed nice and calm. Needs to get the car rotated, get it straight. On the gas. Lovely, lovely job. Galant Schischerit's going to go through. Niklas Gronholm goes with him. The 2 MSC cars drop back, not quite with the pace. Galant Schischerit hoping for a place in the semi-finals. Where's he going to stop the clock? Baumanis the target. 254.2. 254.8. So 0.6 off Baumanis. Baumanis was in P10, but he has beaten Kevin Eriksson, who was in P11. Kevin, though, is in P3, so yeah, Kevin's going to drop 2 points to him here because Gronholm's in between, and he was only 1 point behind him. So Schischerit may have just booked a slot in the semi-finals with a good, calm drive when it looked like he'd had a bit of a shocker with the Joker lap. So tidy tactics from GCK.
It was interesting when he chatted to Neil yesterday after Q1. He said he made a mistake and then he got so irritated and frustrated with himself that he overdrove the car. He kept it very, very cool now in Q4.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because when you do the Joker, you're like, no, this hasn't worked out. Then you get the frustration, the car push, and you feel like you're losing time. But he hasn't. He's taken it. 254.8. Kevin Eriksson 2 places behind him. That could see Schischerit get the last spot in the semi-finals. Baumanis ahead of him was in P10. He needs to watch out for what Timo Scheider does. So Scheider is in this next race, and Scheider is in P12 at the moment. All to play for.
to you just before this session and you said you needed to find your speed. It looks like you found it.
Yeah, I tried to go every time one step a little bit better. And I have no choice because I was really on the cut, so I have to take some risk on this one. So I don't know where we end up, we'll see, but I had to take some risk. The start was a bit rough. On the first corner was cars everywhere. And I managed to keep my line, Joker turn 1, lap 1. Try to fight to finish, to recover my my pace to come back finish one of them. So pretty happy with this.
Well done. Hopefully see you in the semis.
Thank you.
Race 3, Q4, just 2 qualifying races to go in 2018. Inside, Andreas Barks, he's with me to say. Inside, Andreas Backerud. Next to him, Kevin Hansen, Timosyanov, Anton Markland and Timo Scheider. Scheider in P12 has gone for 2 new boots. Anton, 2 new boots in P8. 7th for Hansen at 2 new tyres for him. Timosyanov and Backerud, no new tyres here. My memory's not good enough to know whether or not they've saved anything for the semi-finals. We'll find out soon enough. Sun beating down here in South Africa. A cloud. That's the first one of those I've seen in a couple of days. Here we go. Oh, is that a jump? Surely it is, yeah, Markland. 4 cars go. So,
that makes it interesting.
It does, but what's interesting here as well is that some of these guys are canny enough that when they see somebody jump, they will go as a practice start. So if you watch Kristoffersson, very rarely, if somebody else jumps, does Kristoffersson not go, because he'll go to check if the RPM's right. So, clever stuff. Going to take a look back at that one. I'm sure he was creeping in the last session and then lost out. Yeah,
he actually did.
Yeah, so Markland struggling with his starts. There you go. So Anton Markland in the 92 car with a jump start means 2 joker laps for him. Going to release those cars down to the first corner. Markland's going to have extra tactics to work out. I'm sure GCK will be across that. Scheider looking around the outside. We've got Backerud, Hansen, Timosyanov on the inside. Oh, great start, Timosyanov and Backerud, definitely. I think they're going to edge Hansen out, but Hansen now trying to drag it out, drops in behind. Timosyanov's gone out really wide. He's left the door a little bit open there. Scheider's trying to do the whole round the outside move. Timo Scheider might get this done this time, up to P2. Timo Scheider with a lovely move. He's going to drop back the 3rd, though. Kevin Hansen with a nudge on the back of Backerud. Sideways over the jump. Backerud leads from Kevin Hansen and Timo Scheider. Timosyanov, look, has lost out and ended up all the way down in P5 trying to go around the outside of Mark. He doesn't really need to worry about Mark because Mark, if he's got any sensible joker now and give himself there, he does.
But you know what amazed me? Timo has been so blitz off the line, but then he seems to back off into turn 1 and get muscled out. He did that yesterday. Happened again now today.
He moved wide there. I mean, you need to give yourself some space, but it's difficult. You see, Kevin's clever as well. He's seen, hasn't he, that he's lost the start. Okay, fine. He knows if he's lost the start, the best place to be is inside P2. There's where he ended up, inside P2.
But I love Timo Scheider had the same grid slots in the previous race, so he's getting quite comfortable going around the outside. Nearly pulled it off.
He pulled off an epic move in ARX at Silverstone, getting both the factory Volkswagen Beetles from ARX. Just great stuff. So Backerud is chasing P2 in the championship, so he needs to take a point off Ekstrom if he can. I think he's 3 points behind him in the standings. Let me have a look and see. 4 points behind him, factory. He needs to take a couple of points off if he possibly can.
And
Markland's done both, yeah. Good move, why not?
Get it out the way, and you've got a clear track ahead of you, try and chase the guys down.
Well, let's see what the gap is to Markland. There you go, 7.3. So Markland, I think, unlikely to make any progress from there, but he's given himself the most gap he can at the clean line. 40.3 for Backerud. Backerud is absolutely flying, so he needs to beat Ekstrom here. Ekstrom at the moment is 1 place in front of him, but they're equal on qualifying points. So basically, whoever goes fastest in this session will take the qualifying spot and take a point off their teammate. And when you see the show later on today, you'll be able to see just how much these guys want P2. So Backerud up towards the finish line on this lap. Oh, Hansen as well, look at the bump there. What's he going to do this time round? Backerud looking for another 40.3 or lower. If he can get him 40.4, it's good enough. He's flying, he's on the same pace Loeb was on in the previous session.
Yeah, this is exactly what Andreas Backerud. Quite a quiet weekend, I said it earlier, for EKS. So they do need to obviously secure the championship position. Can't get any closer. Him and Matthias going into it, so it's going to be interesting to see the next race.
Kevin Hansen just 0.9 of a second off in backward, sideways through the chicane coming down last lap. These guys are going to have to split left this time. 2:54.2 is the target time at the moment of Yannis Baumanis, and I think backward should be well on to take a good couple of seconds off that. Here he goes on the drag down towards the finish. On the inside, Timmer is only just in front of Markland. So Timmer, where was Timmer? Has he got a problem? Timmer was only in P9. What's going to happen backward? And looking to stop the clocks. 2:50.7. He's done it by 4 seconds. Well, 3.5 seconds backward has taken it by. Timazyanov holds on to his position. Markland in P5. 2:50.7 by backward. Great time. Would have been enough to win either of the sessions yesterday. Earlier on today would have put him P3 in Q3. So he has thrown it down there. That's quicker than... Yeah, there they are.
I love it.
I got a song from them yesterday, bless them. Yeah, I think they might have had a few beers, as always. But here we go. They're over the moon. And backward has just gone quicker than Ekstrom went in Q3. So good job by him. Up to Ekstrom to respond. So 2:50.7. Then Kevin Hansen, Timo Scheider, Timazyanov and Markland. Here he slots in. Look, him and Kevin going fastest so far. Baumanis and Scheider. Shishrit looking P5, so Shishrit looking good for that last slot in the semis. You're going to find out because we've got just one more race to go. Time for the final qualifying race of 2018. It's going to be a cracker. Have a look at this. The double world champion Johan Kristoffersson on the inside. Sebastian Loeb, the only man to have beaten him in qualifying this weekend in terms of outright pace. Timmy Hansen, Petter Solberg and Matthias Ekstrom. One new tyre for Timmy, everyone else unused. Are people trying to save new boots for later on? Kristoffersson has been brilliant since his problems in Q1, unbeatable in Q2 and Q3. Loeb, though, could be the man to do it. Here we go. There's that familiar noise of the Volkswagen anti-lag. Comes on early always, takes a long time to build up to where they want it. You'll hear only a low rumble from these cars. They've all got similar setups in terms of the way they do their launches. Look how close they are on the outside, Ekstrom and Solberg. Really, really long hold. Superb start by Solberg and Kristoffersson as well. Solberg contacted the side of Hansen. Big contact, way too much. Oh, he's nearly taken out his teammate. Ekstrom trying to go round the outside. Loeb up the inside of Solberg, gives it back. Solberg was really forceful off the start. He runs wide with Ekstrom too. Kristoffersson's going to get the whole shot. Loeb goes through into P2. Solberg and Hansen sideways over the jump in the background. What on earth were they playing at?
Hang on, what happened there? Because Matthias, I thought, had the best position going around the outside while they were fighting for the inside, and he's at the back.
Super forceful though. These guys are normally in a train to get the times done, and this time round they had a good old punch up on the way down to turn one.
Timmy Hansen did not back down at all, because we saw Petter Solberg doing that same move, running it a bit wide through two to block it off.
It was more the run up to turn one, because he just pushed straight into the side of him and there's nowhere to go. So we'll see. Keep an eye on there, see on the timing screen, see if any reprimanding or investigations come up for them. 40.4 for Kristoffersson, and of course this is perfectly played into his hand. But look who's behind him. Sebastian Loeb, as I say, the only guy really who's had that outright pace all weekend. Hansen's done a couple of good laps, but Loeb did that perfect run in Q3.
Look, and we can also, we've missed Solberg and Ekstrom both, obviously, to the joke. It makes complete sense. They got caught up in the squabble, so they're trying to find some clear track for themselves.
Timmy goes Joker now to try and defend from that position behind. So Timmy Hansen in the Joker lap, looking to try and edge Solberg out. This will be fireworks. Oh, sorry, you're right. It's Loeb coming in from the Joker lap. Good shout. So Loeb's gone from up the front. So Loeb has gone then to cover off Solberg behind. But also, he was really close behind Kristoffersson. So Loeb obviously thinks he's got the pace.
Well, let's have a look at what Loeb is doing. 40.7. His joke lap was a 42.8, which is on top.
Fastest lap of the day, Timmy Hansen. As we were saying, it's Loeb that's got the pace. This is on today. Peugeot can do this. So could Audi too. It's all to play for. Timmy Hansen in P2. Can he get Kristoffersson? I think he's too far back. Definitely 1.6. But it's going to be about whether or not Loeb can. Hansen and Kristoffersson are going to wait until the last lap.
Petter Solberg doing literally a 40 dead, so he does have good race pace. Timmy Hansen 39.8. He really is on fire.
I think Peugeot jokered Loeb to cover off Solberg behind if Solberg was on a flyer. So that's a safety move, but particularly he was right on the back of Kristoffersson. But at the minute, Kristoffersson seems to be edging Loeb on pace. He's only by a tenth of a second.
Even quicker for Timmy at 39.7, so he is on fire.
Look at that, Timmy Hansen, 39.7. If he hadn't had that trouble at the start, might this have been the run? And I tell you what, it's also proving, Marius, that the Peugeot has great pace on used tyres as well. Here we go then, last lap of qualifying this season, 2018. Christopherson goes through the Joker lap. He's aiming for 250.7 to take the session. On the inside, Timmy Hansen, Sebastian Loeb Timmy's gone through the Joker with him, but he's got Loeb. Loeb has been beaten by Christopherson in the last session. Is that going to be enough to take TQ? Christopherson's getting across the line. He's going to stop the clocks at 2:49.3. He takes the session from Bakkerud. Christopherson has won 3 sessions after having a disaster in Q1, and that will put Christopherson TQ over Sebastian Loeb. Equal on points, but he will win on countback because he wins Q4. Christopherson has taken his 8th TQ of the season, broken another record, come back from P16 in Q1. Incredible. They think it's incredible too.
So do we in the commentary box. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but the fight's on. They're all on used tyres there, unless Volkswagen have managed to save a set. So Volkswagen, I can't remember.
But Timmy actually put a new tyre on the back right, which was interesting.
Whole set though. Has anybody got a whole set for the semis? Johan Christopherson takes the win, 2:49.3 from Loeb, Timmy Hansen, Petter Solberg and Matthias Ekström. There you go, that means he wins 3 qualifying sessions in a row. We will confirm those positions for you in just a moment. So off the line then, have a look at this. Solberg, look, immediately into the side of Hansen. Hansen can't go anywhere because Loeb's up his inside. That's a lot of contact on the run down to turn 1, but nothing on the timing screens at the minute about an investigation. Side race for everyone. Look, Solberg runs a bit wide. That takes Ekström with him. Hansen somehow gets around the outside of them, and then Loeb was putting in the chase on Christopherson. That was super close on pace.
He did the exact same thing through turn 2, did Solberg, that he did to Ekström earlier. Ran him out wide, dropped him to 5th. But listen, Solberg clearly wanted the inside line because he gave a massive
he just went for it. To be fair as well, at that point it's very hard for Solberg to be able to see. But anyway, it was really fierce down into turn 1. But the fight back from Christopherson has been unbelievable. It's what we expect from the legend.
Johan, that's quite a way to end the season. Your top qualifier again, but it could not be closer with Sebastian Loeb as we go to the semi-finals.
Yeah, going to bed yesterday, I knew it was 10 points to the P1 from my 6th position, so I knew if I have 2 top qualifying, 3 and 4, we're going to be equal in points if Sebastian is P2 in both, so I knew it would be tight and I can do it on my own strength without trouble for anyone else, so this was exactly the best I could achieve, and I'm super happy to be able to do it. Thanks to the guys, they gave me a really good car today.
Good luck later, thank you.
Thank you.
Christopherson doing the maths overnight, realising what he needed to do. He needed to win Q3 and Q4. He did that. Equal points you can see between him and Loeb, but on countback, Christopherson gets it. Sebastian Loeb P2. Timmy Hansen will be on the front row, so it's Peugeots and Volkswagens on the front row for both the semi-finals. Bakkerud's got Ekström. So Bakkerud has got Ekström and takes 1 point off him. The gap is down to 3 points as we go into the semi-finals, so it's on for that last place. For 2nd and 3rd place, in terms of the podium at the end of the season. Kevin Hansen, Anton Markin in P8, great job. Let's see who's made it. Baumanis, Scheider, Timosyanov and Shisha, it's made it. Gronholm's not had a good weekend down here. Ericsson, Larsen and Munich have also missed out.
And it looks like that is Johan Christopherson. He's won 10
We're here in Cape Town for the final round.
He's now lying level on points with Sebastian Loeb.
Well, hello from Cape Town for the final round of the World Rallycross Championship. We're coming up to the semi-finals. Table Mountain in the background with a bit of cloud over it today, but we're not anticipating the weather changing. Solberg and Loeb having a chat ahead of the last semi-finals. Looking fairly relaxed, aren't they, Marius?
Yeah, are we about to line up for a semi-final? I think they're on holiday already. They've got a couple of rounds of races to go still.
Cars rolling around now. You can see, in fact, down towards their semi-final start positions.
But it is a beautiful day weather-wise. Great location. South Africa fans on the embank. So good.
Neil Cole has actually managed to interrupt Petter and Sebastian Loeb. So let's have a chat with Sebastian now. He's going to be on pole in semi-final 2.
Well, Sebastian, there's no doubt that you've definitely got the pace this weekend to potentially win, but now it all comes down to what happens in the races. What's your plan?
The plan is to try to be first in the first corner. I know it will not be easy. Peter had some magic starts during the weekend. But okay, I'm starting pole. I will try to have a good reaction time, good start, and then we will have to fight hard again.
Now, it's very interesting. There's a lot of emotion on this pre-grid because the Peugeot team, they're all taking pictures with each other because this is the last time you'll all be together as one big family. How are you coping as a team with that?
Yes, like you say, it's the last race for the team and then for me in this car, so it's a bit emotional, but that's the decision of the group. So we'll see what we can do in the future. But at the moment, we try just to concentrate on this race. Not to be too much affected about what happens, and we'll try to fight.
Okay, bon courage, well done.
Merci.
Well, Loeb's saying he's going to see what he can do in the future. There are rumours about whether or not those Peugeot cars might be seen again, but in a non-factory guise. Obviously, it's a long way to go until 2019. There's the Backer fan club. He's another driver who might be up for grabs, and I actually think it's exciting. I get it, of course. Teams come and go in motorsport. That always happens. Suddenly you've got Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, Sebastian Loeb, Andreas Backer potentially up for grabs, some of the best drivers in the World Rallycross Championship, possibly changing teams. So it's exciting times. The crowd waiting for the final 4 races of the weekend, 2 World Championship semi-finals. And then, of course, the RX2 final, last one of the year. And we get to see whether Kristoffersen can make it 11 out of 12. The finale of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship is upon us under the shadow of Table Mountain down in Cape Town, South Africa. That's the first cloud shadow we've had over the entire track all weekend, but I can assure you it's not going to rain. The track's a bit damp because it's been watered down ahead of semi-final action. We're going to see these guys do battle and see who's going to make it through to the last final of the year. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on co-coms is Marius Roberts. Reporting from the paddock, as always, is Neil Cole. 12 drivers have made it through. As always, 6 are going to go through to the final. Will one of them be Johan Kristoffersen? Can he make it 11 out of 12 victories, which would be an incredible win rate? So if you've missed all the racing so far this weekend, where have you been? It's all been live and online. You'll be able to look back at it on Facebook and YouTube later. But this is how it finished. Kristoffersen, after being P16 at the end of Q1, has fought back with 3 qualifying session wins in a row. He went to bed last night knowing he needed to win Q3 and Q4 to take the TQ from Sebastian Loeb, and that is what he did. His 8th top qualifier position of 2018, another record. Sebastian Loeb P2, Hansen, Solberg, Backerud, Ekstrom, Kevin Hansen, Markland up in P8, Baumanis a good performance in 9th, Scheider threw in one of his rare appearances this year in 10th, Timosyanov and Shisharit making it through in the last session. Gronholm misses out, Ericsson, Larsen, Munich 2. So top 16 get points, top 12 go through. This is how they split. Odds to semi-final 1, evens to semi-final 2. Kristoffersen versus Hansen, Volkswagen versus Peugeot, semi-final 1. Same in semi-final 2, this time Loeb and Solberg, the rally legends at the wheel. Of course, Solberg himself, a double World Rallycross champion. Then look, Backerud and Ekstrom in separate semi-finals. Backerud closed the championship standings gap down by 1 point during the qualifying stages. He needs to take another 2 or 3 off Ekstrom if he wants to take P2 in the driver standings. Now, Timmy Hansen's on the front row in this first semi-final, so earlier on, Neil Cole went down to the pre-grid and managed to have a catch-up him. I wonder what their tactics are for this one.
Timmy Hansen, you've got yourself in a very good position for semi-final 1. You're alongside Johan Kristoffersen on the front row. First of all, you've got to be pleased that it's not Peter Solberg this time.
Yeah, I guess, but you know, Johan is quite hard also to race. I'm excited. It's the final. It's the last semi-final of the year, and we're on the front row. We've got nothing to lose. I'm really motivated, really focused.
And the car seems to be performing extremely well here in South Africa. What's new? What's different?
Nothing's really new, but we're in the zone. We're having a good weekend, and really focused. I like this track, so this circuit suits me well. I've got 2 new tires on the car, so I still have some cards to play. I'm excited for what's ahead in the semi. I think there's a lot to win now to get into the right position of the final.
Good luck, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Well, Timmy Hansen with some cards to play, a couple of new tyres. We know the Peugeot is exceptional on new tyres, but actually in Q4 we saw it was brilliant on used tyres. Hansen was smashing the lap record. We've seen brilliant lap times from him and from Loeb. The Volkswagens too. I know that Marius has got some updates for us on tyres in a minute. We'll grab those off him just a second's time. So, Kristoffersson with that 8th TQ of the year, on pole in semi-final number 1, looking for 11 out of 12 victories. Unprecedented domination of a world championship. Timmy Hansen next to him with 2 new boots on. Row 2, backward, hoping to overcome his teammate and team boss Ekstrom for 2nd in the driver standings. New tyres on the front. Kevin Hansen wants to make the final at the end of the year. And the back row, Yanis Baumanis and Timazyanov. 3 places in the final up for grabs. Is Kristoffersson going to continue to have this incredible run, particularly after that fight back from a disastrous Q1? Cars clunked into gear. The marshals leave the grid. Just a pair of semi-finals and a final to go to complete this season. Almost the perfect season for Kristoffersson. How close can he get it to that 100%? He's at 91% wins already. Revs up, anti-lag on. The marshal leaves the grid. Watch that front row. Kristoffersson versus Hansen. Hansen looks to have got a really good reaction time. Timazyanov in the background too. Kristoffersson's got the whole shot though. Hansen's going to try and move across, but backward is up the inside. Round the outside. Timmy Hansen in the Peugeot on the handbrake, but Kristoffersson's going to get the better of him. Backward's going to try and hold on backward with almost a half spin. Over-rotates Hansen, looking up the inside. Full width of the curve. Backward runs wide out towards the gravel. Timmy holds on to P2. Kevin Hansen's up to P3. Backward dropped back to P4.
Backward actually had big contact with the outside barrier before the jump, and that's from Timmy actually closing that door back on him, shutting him out of turn 2 into 3. So this is real action stuff.
Into the Joker lap goes Yanis Baumanis on the very first lap. Kevin Hansen is quite sideways. I don't know if he's got proximal off, but backwards right up behind him. At the minute, Kevin Hansen in P3, and of course that's where he needs to be if he wants to make it through. Baumanis has elected to Joker early in the hopes he can fight through. Backwards got to make it through, because if he doesn't, his fight for P2 in the standings is going to go Ekstrom's way.
Well, that is why that incident with Timmy was so critical for him, because they both went for that gap. We know only one car can go through 3. So backward, I think, would probably go for the Joker now if I was him, give himself a bit of a gap to feed back in. Otherwise, a championship race for 2nd is over.
Kristoffersson from Timmy Hansen, just 0.6 of a second in between them. Timmy Hansen is going to follow him. I wonder if they're going to leave Kevin where he's not. He doesn't need any protection. Timmy's going quickly. Kevin, this is actually about whether or not Kevin or backward makes it, isn't it? The top 2, unless they have a disaster, are going to go through. Timmy would dearly love to go through ahead of Kristoffersson and have a better chance of beating him, but at the minute Johan's going to be on the front row.
But you know what's quite interesting? I had a chat to Johan just before the semi-final. He's got another new tyre that he's kept back. So I saw he only put 1 new tyre on, so there's a new tyre for the final for him. So he's still keeping some cards close to hand there. But for me, it's about Backarud, because he really has to make a move. Are the spotters going to call him in now?
Now, Timmy lost a lot of time, didn't he, in that first corner instant where everyone was side by side. That's played into Johan's hands a little bit. There's not really a lot he's going to be able to do about that. I'm a little bit surprised they haven't sent Backarud, because Backarud is all over the back of Kevin again. But I guess if they send him, he ends up behind Timazyanov, and that's a worry too.
I think they're going to wait. I reckon as soon as he sees Kevin go, he'll go. He won't. So I think that's what they're waiting. Who's going to blink first?
Well, I wonder if Kevin might not blink until lap 6 behind Timazyanov. 5.7, Baumanis is 7.2 off the back, so Baumanis closing down on Timazyanov, but those two unlikely to make it through. There's just 0.3 of a second between Kevin Hansen and Andreas Backarud, which is where the real story is here. If Backarud goes out at this point, then unless Matthias has an absolute shocker. Oh,
Backarud's having a look.
Yeah, Kevin's super defense. Backarud runs wide. Backarud's off on the inside. The chicane. Backarud has parked the Audi. Andreas Backarud has parked the Audi. Game over. Matthias Ekstrom is P2 in the World Rallycross Championship, and Backarud has had to settle for 3rd. He will not make the final here in South Africa as Kristoffersson continues to lead from Timmy Hansen, but the gap is the same. We could be on for a great race in the final.
This is actually devastating stuff for Bakkerud because we know he wanted to take that fight to the final. I don't want, something must have happened because he lined up next to Kevin for that very tricky chicane, trying to go for a move and then just parked the car. So it'll be interesting to see what happened there. Oh, it's now just a show.
Now the gap back to Timmy, 1.4. I don't know if he's had a little go slow or maybe a tiny little lock-up. Timmy goes Joker, so Timmy has to go Joker on a different lap to Kristoffersson. Kevin, does he go with him? Kevin does not. Kevin stays on the standard lap, but behind him is Timosiano. And Kevin Hansen could put all 3 Peugeots, assuming Loeb goes to next time, into the final on their last appearance as a factory team.
It's very interesting having the timing. Timmy has been quick, but not nearly as quick as Jan Kristoffersson. So he's doing enough to ensure he's got a clean run into that final. But interesting call. Is it going to be a big swan song for the Peugeot team, having all 3 cars in the final? Good spot, Andrew Coley.
Kevin Hansen's got a little bit of tyre smoke coming off the rear left on his car. It might be from contact early in the race, or possibly we're backward at that last attempt. Yeah, his rear left corner of Kevin's bumper fully folded up underneath the tyre. It won't be a problem. The world champion goes into the Joker lap, hunting down pole position, which will put him in the perfect position to try and take 11 out of 12 victories. Kristoffersson is on the gas and powering towards, is it the second to last checker flag he's going to see for the first time in P1 this year? Kristoffersson takes another semi-final to put himself on pole in the final. Timmy Hansen goes through in P2, and Kevin Hansen puts a pair of Peugeots through. If Loeb goes through in this next semi-final, all 3 Peugeots will be represented in their final outing as a factory team. Brilliant stuff. Timosiano has crossed the line 4th, Baumanis 2. Andreas Bakkerud will be gutted to have retired in the semi-final, and that means, as I say, that Matthias Ekström will take P2 in the driver's standings. I don't think, if there's a possibility Solberg will be close enough to take 3rd off back. No, he won't, because he's had the 15-point engine penalty, so I'm pretty sure that's going to confirm the top 3. Yeah. Johan Kristoffersson takes semi-final number 1, Timmy Hansen P2, Kevin Hansen P3, 3 Swedes through. That's our 42nd, well, it's 42nd podiums we've had in a row. 41 we've had in a row, so with a Swede on it. Are we going to get a 42nd one here? It looks like it. Timosiano, Baumanis and Bakkerud are out.
Johan, another semi-final win, another pole position for the final. How did you do it?
I mean, it was quite okay. I had a very good launch again, so hand over a bit of launch settings to Petter now, just on the radio, so hopefully he can have a great launch as well. And yeah, that we'll see. Now it's up to Petter to put 2 Volkswagens on the front for the last race of the year.
Good luck with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's another look then at semi-final number 1. Kevin Hansen moved across quite early to take that inside line. Timmy trying to go all the way on the outside, actually did pretty well.
Look at the contact here, though. This is where it gets interesting.
I wonder if Bakkerud did hit the wall hard enough to damage the car at that point. You know, was he carrying the damage for the rest of the race?
But he was running good lap times, Andrew. So
yeah,
he was on song with Kevin in front of him. So
look how accurate these guys are through that fully committed last chicane as well. That's where he does, and then he looks like he's making a move. It's almost like he's braked super late and something on the car's given up. But the Audi parked, and Bakkerud's hopes of P2 over. Hoping we'll see Bakkerud again, maybe in another team next year. Such a fantastic driver and such a lovely character as well. So good luck, Andreas. We look forward to seeing you back. This man, though, unstoppable. 11 out of 12. You're going to find out soon enough. A little bit of a cloud over Table Mountain there. What do you call that?
A little bit of a cloud over the spectators, the Bakkerud fans anyway. Well, let's put a dampener on things for them.
Oh, they'll be right. I don't think it won't dampen their party spirits. Let's put it that way. But there is Bakkerud.
I'd love to know what happened there.
Yeah, he's 3rd in the standings at the minute. I'm pretty sure that's where he's going to end up. But no more racing for him in 2018. So waiting for the Audi to be recovered. Andreas' car being picked up. That's not the way you would have wanted to. You want to drive your car back to the paddock, even if you've gone out, you know, but it's, yeah, not ideal. There is his fan club. Well, they're happy enough anyway. So Neil Cole caught up earlier on with the FIA World Rallycross Championships Managing Director Paul Bellamy about how things are going and looking forward to an exciting 2019.
Paul Bellamy, MD of FIA World RX. Give us a sense of how good a year this has been for World Rallycross.
Yeah, it's been a busy year. You know, we started off the season back in April, and then we had our first event at Silverstone ever, the Speed Machine Festival, which was fantastic. combining music and food element and track activities with a World Championship, and then moved on through the year, going to America for the first time, and then probably seeing one of the best racing drivers in any discipline in motorsport, in our sport currently competing, and that's quite something to see.
And yeah, a word about Johan Kristoffersen, because this is really a special moment in motorsport and sport in general.
Well, I think so. You go back, and golf had Tiger Woods, tennis has Roger Federer. I really think we have Johan, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be watching him compete at the very, very top, and to see an athlete in your sport who's probably the best of his generation, maybe even the best ever, is certainly a special experience for us.
And of course, it's not just World RX. IMG have grown the sport in North America. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, ARX and ARX2 has been a successful start to the season, and great to see Scott Speed winning it for the very first time we ever ran the championship, and we're planning to increase that next year alongside World Rallycross. So that opens up that whole American market for us.
And talk about a little bit about the future. How do you see this developing for 2019?
Yeah, well, we've got lots of activities for 19 planned already. We've obviously announced the AS Marina and a new circuit there, and Spa. So the early end of the season, at the start, we'll see two new venues, two fantastic venues. And my team have been out on recce's to both those places, and the plans for the rallycross tracks are quite special, particularly when you get to Yaz, and particularly when you get to the Spa circuit, which is just an iconic circuit in motor racing terms. And to have the World Championship there, our World Championship there, is going to be really exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well, I think good to hear from Paul Bellamy about the growth of the sport, of course, into ARX, ARX2, some new venues as well. And I think it's important to remember that when we leave places like Europe and come to places like South Africa, that people have been super excited for us to come down. I've met so many fans that are grateful for it to be here. It's always difficult when a World Championship's travelling around, but yeah, the reaction to the fans, to the sport coming down here, for me, has been amazing. So it's great that the Championship's spreading its wings. Well, semi-final one done and dusted. We've got a pair of Peugeots in. We've got just one more semi-final to come to decide who's going to be in the last final of the year. Look at that, what a shot, eh? Off the back of the GCK machine. Getting ourselves ready to launch 6 cars up towards the first corner for the last semi-final, the last scrap to get the last places in the last final of the year. I can't believe how quickly this season has gone. Here we go then, Sebastian Loeb on pole for this one with Petter Solberg. Solberg with 3 new boots, my goodness me, that's going to be tough to beat. Row 2, and Matthias Ekström and Anton Markland. Ekström now the holder of P2 in the driver's standings. 4 new tyres for Ekström. Have they pulled off something special holding those tyres back? Can Audi take a single victory at the end of the year? Anton Markland with 2 new boots on the GCK machine. Timo Scheider and Gulan Shisharit bringing up the rear on used boots. So this should be exciting. There's Timmy's car being re-prepared back in the garages. Kevin's as well, and of course Sebastian's will be slotting into the middle. Such hard work for the teams to get the cars ready to go. Okay, semi-final number 2, all lined up and ready to launch. The marshal is signalling to the drivers. They're about to go and do battle one last time for a slot in the final. Ekström's on brand new boots. Can he get a mega launch up between the Peugeot and the Volkswagen? He can. A brilliant launch from Ekström, but also a mega launch on the front row for Sebastian Loeb. Solberg with a 0.3 and Shisharit with a 0.3. Solberg contact. He got a reprimand for that earlier on today. Loeb looking up the inside, but Solberg's going to get the whole shot. Loeb's going to be P2, and then Ekström holding on to P3. So Scheider, and then the 2 GCK machines at the back. So Shisharit ahead of Anton Markland, but Petter Solberg off.
Listen, we know all weekend he's had an electric start off the line, so that is fantastic stuff that he's done there. He's done all he needed to do. Turn 1 is the action going into that corner, and he got the jump on Loeb. Nothing Loeb can do but to try and keep it clean from here on in. But listen, shout out to the GCK team to have both of them in a semi-final. What an end to a rookie season for the team. So great work by both of them, Markland and Shisharit.
Yeah, good stuff. And in fact, Shisharit's gone joker on the first lap. So Shisharit choosing to release Markland. And Markland, of course, has been a little bit quicker, but that still also gives Shishirit the opportunity to fight for a place too. So clever tactics, because it doesn't really compromise either driver at the back, and they've certainly made sure that Markland isn't compromised by Shishirit. Shishirit knows he's continuing to learn this sport. So Solberg from Loeb from Ekstrom. Ekstrom is just 0.6 off the back of Loeb. Are any of them going to try some tactics early doors? They're not, they're just going to follow on.
I'm quite keen to see the timing at the moment. We know Matthias Ekstrom has 4 new tackies, a nice new term for you on, and he should be quicker than Loeb in front of him, but Loeb is at such good pace, whether on new rubber or the old rubber, so that Peugeot looks so perfectly set up at the moment on song to have all 3 in the final.
It's going to be interesting to see when everybody in the finals on used tyres to see which of these cars has used their tyres the least through the weekend, who's managed that situation. In Solberg, so you know, people have got 3 new tyres, Ekstrom's got 4. We know they're only going to dump 1 run by the time they get to the final, but temperatures are high here and these guys are pushing really, really hard. Look at the gap, it's just 1.1. There's only a 10th in it between Solberg and Loeb, and Ekstrom is still right there underneath the rear wing. They're looking back, I'm sure, to see what the gap is to Scheider, and at the minute it's just borderline for anyone to Joker.
Yeah, I think they're going to wait. Who's going to blink first from a spotter perspective?
I think one more lap, Mario. So I might be wrong, but I think one more lap will see the gap between Ekstrom and Scheider up to enough to slot a supercar in. Now, if you get to that point, then Loeb and Ekstrom can know that they're going to get clear space if they drop back. So expect one of them possibly to blink now.
We've actually got it right now. If you have a look at that gap, it's way over 5 seconds.
Yeah, Scheider just jokered. So it was 5.1. I didn't see Scheider had jokered. So we're following the leaders, so expect to see one of them joker. Now, that was a super wide run.
Really, really close coming over the jump, touching the barriers, what we saw here in the commentating mark, but hasn't affected him.
Loeb goes joker. Loeb goes joker. I thought they would. So Sebastian Loeb's gone joker first of all. That releases Ekstrom. Can Ekstrom get himself up a row in the final? You can see a battle in the background between Scheider and the 2 GCK machines as well. So Scheider's actually in between them. Oh, Shishirit up the inside of Scheider. So Scheider got a problem. Timo Scheider seemingly struggling. It looks like Scheider's out of this one. He is, so
I think
sideways.
there's a puncture somewhere there. He's got no traction coming out of that corner. Not repeating his final appearance from last year.
So what's the gap going to be between Ekstrom and Loeb? It's just 2 seconds at the minute, and that is not enough. Look at the bottom of your screen, and you will see that Loeb would come out in front. So Loeb's going to have to push like mad now. He doesn't want Ekstrom to do the perfect lap and get out in front of him come the joker.
But Ekstrom putting in a 40.2 there, so he is certainly on pace. Some of the quickest times we've seen all race weekend.
And he's waiting, so Ekstrom's going to wait. Ekstrom's going to wait until the last lap in the hopes he can gap him a bit more. Solberg, meanwhile, out front is 2.2 up now on Ekstrom. Of course, Solberg hasn't jokered. What do we think Joker is, 3-ish?
No, we were saying less. That was for RX2, so it's about 2.5 at the moment, from what we were working out earlier. So
Scheider seems okay again. So Scheider, I don't know what was going on at the back there. Scheider's now all over the back of one of the GCK cars. Solberg, meanwhile, on the last lap, pushing really, really hard up and over the jump. He's hoping to lock out the front row with his teammate Christopherson, 40.2.
And Ekstrom's sitting on at 40.3, so they should be close enough.
Loeb looks like he's going to get Ekstrom. Here we go. So into the tactics for the final time. Joker lap for the leader, Solberg. Ekstrom goes with him. Watch Sebastian Loeb on the inside. This is for a position on row 2. Solberg gets the car straight. He's easily going to come out in front of Loeb. This is Loeb versus Ekstrom. Peugeot versus Audi. Sebastian Loeb's got it done. Solberg comes up and over the crest, dip chicane to take the checker flag. It'll be a Volkswagen lockout on the front row here for the final round in 2018. All 3 Peugeots go through, and we've got Ekstrom with the Audi there as well. Meanwhile, there's still a race going on towards the flag. Shishirit stops somewhere. This is Markland versus Scheider. Markland's going to hold on, I'm sure. No room there for Timo to get through. Markland takes P4, Scheider P5. Super close between them. Wow.
That was good racing right through the field. We were so worried about what was happening up front.
Yeah.
But what a battle with the GCK team and Timo Scheider. He loves this track. He's fast and using all of his tar track knowledge to put in a good shot. Crowd loving it.
Really close on pace. If you look at the lap times, 40.2, 40.1, yeah, they're all 40.3. That's 40.1 from Ekstrom. Solberg, Loeb and Ekstrom are all capable of almost the exact same lap times. Possibly going to come down to what happens at the start. With the Volkswagens on the front row, it's going to be very hard. Solberg takes it from Sebastian Loeb and Matthias Ekstrom, 1 each of the factory cars going through for the last time in 2018. Markland, Scheider and Shishirit are done for this year. So 6 laps left to run in the FIA World Rallycross Championship 2018 to decide the final winner of the year.
Pete, it looks like you were really pushing then. You really wanted to get that front row lockout for the last final of the year.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's I had also good tires, and it's really good. The first corner, I mean, how I got through that one, I don't know, but I got so badly pushed, but I kept full throttle, and
end of the day, it worked out well, so looking forward to the final now, yeah.
Go and get the car sorted.
Yeah, thanks.
Typical Petter, isn't it? Full throttle, you got to love him. He's always got a smile on his face. That's so that's Johan Kristoffersson speaking to his engineer. So they're either deciding tactics or tyres, possibly which of the tyres that are left are best. Kristoffersson looking pretty relaxed. There will not be, there you go, look, so they're choosing which corner of the car to put which tyre, I think.
He's got that one new tyre that he's kept back.
Okay, yeah, good shout. Plus the one new one he had from the semi, which has only done 6 laps. So every little detail. So these then, a look back at the semi-final number 2. Look at that. So to be fair to Solberg, he's right. He did get a big push from Loeb.
But all the action in that final is going to come down to that turn 1. We've seen it all weekend, and it gets very busy through turn 3. Not much space there. Loeb obviously running very wide. We saw him touching the barriers later on in the race as well. But wow, turn 1 is where it's all going to happen. Look at this battle.
So what this is? So this is the.
That was
Shisha it went through, but Shisha it went through here behind. Then Scheider looks like he's got a problem, but possibly just out in the loose dirt. And then
he went
Shisha
into the tyre wall too.
Yeah,
there.
but Shisha it then just disappeared. We didn't see what happened. So on to the final lap. Solberg through the Joker, Ekstrom with him, but on the inside, Sebastian Loeb has done enough to hold on. So as I say, all 3 Peugeots, 2 of the Volkswagens, and 1 of the Audis make it through to the last final of the year. Solberg versus his teammate Kristoffersson. Can Petter finally take a win, or is Johan going to take his 11th? Okay, so a couple of finals still to come. We have the last final of the year. Of course, we've got RX2 coming up first of all, and then we'll have the final round of the World Rallycross Championship as well. So 2 finals to come. Stay with us. Massive crowd here. We've had incredible weather. It's been a little bit windy, but no complaints, certainly not from the Europeans. Neil Cole is down on the pre-grid. Let's go and see who he's found down there.
Tamarin Green, you are Miss South Africa and you're on your way to the Miss Universe finals. You must really understand the pressure that these guys are under in terms of competition.
Definitely. I know that it is the final and I know they're going to give it their all because that's exactly what I'm going to do when I go to Miss Universe. It's so exciting to be here today because I've never attended one of these and I'm like literally, I'm feeling it with them. I just want, you know, the best person to win. It's so exciting.
It's brilliant. This is the second time we've come to Cape Town as a World Championship and you can see how the fans are loving it and it's growing as a sport.
Yes, I've asked everyone and they said they really enjoy that it's being hosted in Cape Town. I think we need it, you know, and it's festive season. People are out, they want to be in the sun and it's the perfect place to have something like this.
And also, just quickly, what does it mean to you? What do you have to do to go to the Miss Universe finals and what does it mean to represent South Africa?
It means so much to me. I'm so proud that I can, you know, show the world what South Africa is made of. Show the people that South Africans are strong, we're resilient, we overcome. So that's my responsibility and I can't wait to walk up on that stage and do everyone proud.
Good luck with it. I know you leave quite soon. All the best.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Great stuff. Everyone down here really, really friendly. One of the things I've been struck by is the amount of people that are learning about the sport and absolutely love it. You know, so it's great to see Miss South Africa loving it, but
we
honestly,
make them
loads
beautiful
of families
down
and
here.
yeah, brilliant.
Not just the mountain, we make them beautiful in South Africa. Wishing Tamarin all the very best, Miss South Africa, doing us proud. But you're right, it is an event that South Africa needs, Cape Town needs. It's been amazing having the road show back. Best drivers in the world, great weather, and
down on
action.
the waterfront, wasn't it, on Thursday? All the cars down
incredible.
in the city centre. But I think even if you fancied a ticket, I'm told it was sold out ages ago anyway, so it's good to see the event so popular. So a little bit of chilling for these guys. There won't be any chilling for the drivers. You see there's some serious motorsport fans down here. I've seen lots and lots of, yeah, there you go, you're on the big screen, lads. F1 fans with the various hats on. We've seen the guys. I've seen people with their own shirts made up yesterday, World RX 2018, which I thought was really cool. So there is a serious love of the sport, not just rallycross.
What's been amazing is obviously taking the live feed. South Africa now can follow the whole roadshow, not just wait till the event gets to South Africa. And we've obviously seen as a spin-off that we now have local series starting. So rallycross is now here in South Africa to stay, which is fantastic.
Big guns are out down there. Look, the long lenses to catch the action. And there's going to be some serious action still to come. RX2 final and the World Rallycross final coming up. So the International RX2 series is finishing here in South Africa. We've had 7 rounds. This is the 7th round. And in fact, we managed to crown our champion earlier on today. So let's take a look then at how the championship unfolded. And if you didn't see it online, let's just say it was pretty complicated. So Ericsson came here with a 14-point championship lead. This was Krogstad. Was it Krog?
Yeah,
yes, it was. Krogstad on the last corner of the last race of Q4. At this point, Oliver Ericsson was coming around to take the win, and that would have been it. Would have been enough.
De Ridder looked like he had the jump.
Yeah, but it would have been enough for him to win the championship. De Ridder was going to take the race, but he got red flagged with 1 corner to go. They set off, and Ericsson's tyre deflated. He'd had a puncture from the previous race before they got to turn 1. So the rerun of the last qualifying race, poor old Oliver Ericsson looked like he'd had an absolute shocker. De Ridder, with a tiny bit of contact, it has to be said, ended up cutting the corner. What he didn't do then was back off to get back to Heathcote. So the steward stepped in and said, you're having a 5-second penalty for that, Sunshine. That dropped De Ridder down the order, and it meant that come the semi-finals, Ericsson just needed to pick up 1 point to take the championship. He did better than that. He won the semi-final, and he put himself in a position to win the final. This was him celebrating.
Oliver, you've worked so hard this season, and it all came down to the very last race. How are you feeling? What does it mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, from everything, from the workshop with those Space MSC guys, you know, we're focusing on everything and working day and night to improve every single detail. Since it's a spec series, we need to do everything. So, man, I get all credit to the team, you know, every little detail we put into this car, it's just amazing.
Now you've got 1 more race to do, a lap of honor to be in the final.
Yeah, I mean, now it's just enjoy. It's been a whole season, and secure it now and just go enjoy the final. It's amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So there are the championship standings confirming Oliver Ericsson as the 2018 RX2 champion. Guillaume de Ridder finishing in P2. Krogstad, look, is going to be in actually Gryazin, if he took 8 points, if Gryazin took the win, Gryazin could still sneak 3rd place. But Gryazin has to win the final to steal it from Krogstad. Poor Krogstad retiring during the semi-finals. Ben-Philip Gundersen 5th, Evjen 6th, Nilsson and Kalimäki. Ben-Philip Gundersen having a brilliant weekend here. He might be able to take his 2nd win. You're going to find out now. So the cars are down there, all set to go. So let's take a look at the lineup for the last RX2 final of 2018. On pole position, Oliver Ericsson, the champion. Next to him, Vasily Gryazin. Can Gryazin take the win? Can Ben-Philip Gundersen do it from row 2? He's been really quick in a couple of sessions this weekend. Of course, he won earlier on in the year. William Nilsson 2. And bringing up the rear, Sami-Matti Trogan and Sondre Evjen. Some seriously quick young drivers in this. So Gryazin, if he takes the win and with it 8 championship points, will take 3rd in the standings. So Gryazin here really desperately needs to win. He hasn't had a podium so far. He's been 4th in the final, Gryazin has. So to take a victory now and secure 3rd would be incredible, wouldn't it? A podium in the championship as well as his 1st victory of the season. But Ericsson looking to take his 4th victory of the season. Gundersen super fast from row 2. Here we go. Gundersen with a great start, back start for Nilsson. Nilsson goes backwards. Gundersen's got a good start from row 2, but they've shut the door already. Gryazin moves across. Ericsson on the inside. Gundersen up in the air, rides up the wheel of Gryazin. I thought he was going to fire forward to take out Ericsson. Somehow he didn't. But Gundersen gets up the inside. Up on the outside, Sondre Evjen out the dirt. It's Ericsson. Gundersen up to P2. Sami-Matti Trogan's up to P3. And Gryazin has dropped down to 4th.
What unbelievable action. That is how desperate the guys are to shut that door into turn 1, ending up running over each other. And I think Evjen obviously having a very bad start, running super wide through turn 1. He's probably going to go for the Joker now as well. Oh, it's actually not. It's Nilsson that goes for that.
So Nilsson's gone Joker on lap 1, Evjen on the back of the train, and Evjen's gone sideways again. So I wonder if Evjen might have a little problem. Evjen not quite on the usual form that we're used to. Little way back, as you can see there.
He was running
coming out the Joker.
Yeah,
he was, but he hasn't had a super smooth weekend. He's in the finals. He's obviously had a good weekend, but Ericsson's had a mega weekend. Other than a not ideal Q1, he's been doing really fantastically. Trogan now following Gundersen through. Gunderson sideways as he approaches the jump. And Gryazin now, I think Gryazin's got a big ask on his hand if he wants to take that P3. So Krogstad will have breathed a big sigh of relief at this point.
Can you imagine for him sitting there watching this race?
Horrible, you want to be in it.
I think it's all done right now. Yeah, nothing he can do. It's up to what happens on the track, and he's not a part of it.
Ericsson's got a problem. No, Ericsson stops. Gunderson goes through. Gryazin in the back of Ericsson. He was unsighted. Ericsson, the champion, has ground to a halt in the hairpin. What might have happened if they'd gone down to the final race? We saw the P2 man, Dorina, retire the grid. Ericsson's car has died. Luckily for him, he's already got the title, but the win is now up for grabs. So Gryazin, unfortunately, if he had managed to see Gryazin, that Ericsson had stopped, he might have done better. Gryazin flying, and now we've got a problem for Trogan. Sammy Matty Trogan on a go slow. Evgen up and over the jump. Gryazin, Nilsson's in the wall. It's all gone off on this lap. Nilsson in the wall. Oh my goodness me. Evgen with a problem, dropping backwards. Nilsson in the wall. Ericsson's car still in the middle of the road. Double wave yellows because it's a slow point on the track. Gunderson goes through in the lead. Evgen. Gryazin goes round the outside. So Gryazin,
he's back in it. Good bet. In it.
Oh, no way.
RX2 has got the crowd on their feet.
It's got me on my feet. My goodness me. If we get this in World Championship, I think I'll pass out. So Ben Philip Gunderson leading. If his spotters have got any sense, they'll be telling him now, chill, you can get this done. It's about 3.5 back to Evgen, but Evgen also has to joker.
They both need a joker, so just keep it calm.
100%. Gryazin is a further roughly 4 seconds back from them, so at the minute Gunderson and Evgen would be safe at the front of the field.
And we know their joker is about 3.3, so Gryazin is pushing really hard.
Gunderson's gone joker, so Gunderson's gone joker early. That's a sensible move. It manages to protect it. Evgen goes 2. So Gunderson and Evgen have gone, and that means then that Gryazin will struggle to get past. So Gryazin in P3. Look at the damage to Gryazin's car. All the aerodynamics of a shed. Wow.
But it also makes it quite challenging getting your exit right out of the normal hairpin there with that car parked there. So
yeah,
maybe the joker lap's actually the quicker lap.
Interestingly, Gunderson's been going inside, the others have been going outside. You've just got to get the wheel straight when you find the traction. But Ericsson, he's just come out the corner and just died smack in the middle of the racing line.
I wonder what happened there. He's had a tricky weekend off that Q4. Oh. Thank goodness he's wrapped it up in that, semi.
Particularly after what happened at the end of Q4, and we were thinking, well, we don't want himself by bad luck. Then he had the bad luck, and you think, no. And then, in the end, it's worked out the way it would have worked out, because with the retirements that Ericsson and Dorina have had, the standings would have stayed the same. We couldn't have known that, neither could they. So they've been on this massive roller coaster of emotion. Gryazin, as I say, would really have liked to have taken that P3, but at the minute, unless something happens to both Gunderson and Evgen, and I'm not saying it won't, with the way things are going so far.
Have gone today.
Yeah.
But onto that final lap, and Gryazin really trying to push on. But from a lap time perspective, Evgen has got him covered. He last lap at 43.6 and Gryazin at 44. So not going to go his way. Gunderson's got this wrapped up. Good drive.
Yeah.
Ending the year the way he started.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Mega stuff from Ben Philip Gunderson. Previously an FIA European Touring Car champion, making the move across to four-wheel drive and spec RX2 series. Gunderson started the year with a win, and he's going to finish the year with a win as well. Hopefully we'll see him back next year to fight for championship honours, because he's clearly got the pace to run at the front. Gunderson takes the final round of RX2 in 2018. His second win of the year. He's only been on the podium twice, and both times he's been on the top step. Evgen comes through to take his third podium of the year. He was P2 in Belgium. He takes P2 here as well, starting and finishing the year in exactly the same way. And P3 goes to Vasily Gryazin. His first time on the podium this year. Unfortunately, not enough for him to steal the points from Krogstad. That, of course, is only unfortunately for Vasily. If you're Henrik Krogstad, big sigh relief. Well done, Henrik. P3 in RX2.
But hang on, Andrew. Evgen had no shout at repeating Cape Town last year, where he finished second. He's got it done. I actually can't believe it.
You've said it so many times this week, and he must have been listening. Again, do you know what? A lot of these guys have had a real up and down weekend, but incredible stuff in the last RX2 final.
Spectators have been up and down all weekend as well, watching these guys. Unbelievable. What racing and commitment. The guys are hungry, clearly, for a win.
Massively. We've seen some good passes to it. We've actually seen good racing in RX2 all weekend. So first time as well out there, Trogan's just come past the commentary position with a flat rear left tyre. So hopefully you've been able to keep up, because we've actually shown you all the sessions of RX2 this weekend as well, live online. Ben Philip Gunderson wins the final round of RX2 2018 from Sondra Evgen and Vasily Gryazin, Nilsson, Trogan and Ericsson. Ericsson with a DNF, but still crowned the champion for this year. Right, let's pick the bones of this one. So off the start then, Nilsson went a bit backwards, didn't he? Watch for Gunderson. He rides up the rear wheel of Gryazin. That fires him forward. At that point, I thought he was going to take out Ericsson. Here's Ericsson that turns the car in.
It actually dies
It's gone
before.
there. It's gone, and there's nothing he can do because he's halfway up the curb. So he's rolled it off the curb. And if Gryazin had spotted that he was there, of course, Gryazin has seen him check up in front of him and has had to go left. Hasn't gone far enough. And Gryazin could have nicked third if he hadn't known that Ericsson
But
was right there.
Gryazin was also right up the car in front of him, so he was totally unsighted.
That was Nielsen who was off at the jump. Can you imagine Gryazin spotter probably shouting, go wide, go wide. He's thinking, what are you on about? And then boom, in the back of Ericsson. Oh, yeah, that's what you meant. Oliver Ericsson, the RX2 champion for 2018, 175 points, 20 clear of Guillaume de Ridder. Those guys I spoke to earlier this week, and they're hoping to be in supercars next year. That might leave this championship open to a super close fight between Luca Krogstad, holds on to P2. Ben-Philip Gunderson, in fact, manages to get Gryazin by just 1 point, and Evgen in P6. Nielsen and Kalliomäki, your top 8. Been a fantastic fight for the entire season. Looking forward to RX2 next year. Well done, Oliver Ericsson, 2018 RX2 champion. This is it. The last 6 laps of 2018. 6 supercars to be sent down to turn 1 in every sense of the word to do battle for that final victory. Is Johan Kristoffersson going to get 11 from 12? Could we see Solberg take his first win of the year? Will it be one of the Peugeots? Could Matthias Ekstrom somehow get a win for Audi? He had one at the start of the year in Spain before it was taken away for contact with Solberg. So he would have had a victory for Audi, Peugeot, and several for VW, but instead it hasn't happened. We've got one last final for these guys to duke it out for that honour. Who's your money on, Marius? You'd be brave to bet against the man with the number 1 on the car.
Especially knowing what has been going down in turn 1. If he gets a good start off the line, I think he's got it wrapped up and done. But the fight's going to be for second position, in my opinion. And the Peugeots have been super fast and obviously wanting to end the year on a high as well. So I think Kristoffersson's got this covered. I'm predicting he's still got 1 new tyre that he's put on. So I think he's got it wrapped.
Well, let's see. He'll have certainly gone with every single detail possible, really. You know, Kristoffersson, like, there won't be anything that's been left unturned. Incredible that he went to bed last night, having looked at it and gone, OK, I've got to win both sessions. He knew he was 10 points back in the standings. The only way you get a 5-point advantage is by getting P1 to P2 in quali. I've got a win Q3, I've got a win Q4, then I get Sebastian on countback. Did it. But this is what he's done, is he's gone, I want to be a world champion, here's the plan. He got third, he got second, he got world champion. He's now won the world championship 2 years in a row, and he's broken every record. But he could be arguably the greatest rallycross driver in history.
We were chatting to him a little bit earlier, and it is that attention to detail, that hunger to get everything perfect is why he's the champion, not just this year, last year, the results. He's not just happy to win, he wants to smash records. And you spoke about earlier, 91%, unbelievable.
Talk about records as well. So Matti Alamäki, back in 1989, took 9 out of 11. That is the closest that it's come. When I spoke to Johan about that on Friday, he goes, yeah, I've beaten that. He said 10.
Of course he would know that.
Of course he would. Yeah, well, I love the fact he knows. We were saying, though, you know, OK, 10 out of 12, he's missed 2. Alamäki missed 2. We were thinking it's the same. Johan's thinking, no, I got 10, so therefore I'm ahead. Fair enough. What we're looking to see is, can Johan get 11 out of 12? If he can, as I say, it is just the most incredible win rate. I think it's possibly the most incredible win rate in any World Motorsport Championship. I'd be interested, certainly, at the FIA level. We'll have to get someone to look the stats up for us. I've got someone in mind online at WRX Stats. I'm thinking of you on Twitter. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out if Kristoffersson is the most dominant driver in any World Championship of Motorsport ever. Could be.
Marshall's doing a great job the whole weekend. Obviously that contact in the RX2 with Nielsen going into that tyre wall. Marshall's doing some quick repair work before we get underway for the final of Supercars, the last final of the year. And what a beautiful place. I think right now the drivers are probably looking up and enjoying Table Mountain. What a view.
Well, I think probably everyone except 6 of them, who I'm sure at glance, you know what I mean, don't you? They want to enjoy it. They'll be enjoying it a lot more in about 5 minutes time, I'd say, won't they, when this is all over, and maybe 4 minutes time actually, when this is all over and done with, because at the minute it's full focus, isn't it, on taking that last win of the year.
Don't tempt fate. We did this earlier with RX2,
yeah,
and we got a red flag on the final lap. Wouldn't that be great for the spectators?
Well, another final, 2 finals. I think they'd probably declare it if it reaches enough race distance. A couple of Rossi fans down there.
Nothing wrong with that. Another legend.
Mega, yeah. I want to see Rossi do some rallycross. He's done some rallying. He loves it. He's got great racecraft. He loves driving rallycars. I think if we get him in a supercar, he'd absolutely love it. But
talking stats,
yeah.
Rossi, Kristoffersson, Kelly
Loeb,
Slater
yeah,
from a surfing
Schumacher,
perspective, sheer dominance.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, you could take Federer's. You know, Paul Bellamy said earlier on. There are people that dominate a sport in an incredible way, and that's what Kristoffersen's done here. The Hansens pulling up to the grid. Is this the last time we'll see these Peugeots? Will the factory Peugeots end up owned by somebody else next year? Or will they end up in the Peugeot Sport Museum? Peugeot Sport, of course, closing now. Not just World Rallycross that those guys have elected not to take part in. They've stopped all factory motorsport for now. Decision from the PSA Group, who of course owns Citroën as well. But rumours that the Peugeots might end up elsewhere. We'd love to see the cars back, and looking at the performance, you know, could they take the fight next year? Or Volkswagen do a little bit more development over the winter and make it even harder? Here we go then. Here's the lineup for the last final of 2018. 2 double World Rallycross champions and teammates on the front row. Johan Kristoffersen on pole, Petter Solberg next to him. Solberg came so close in Kota, could he take it here? 2 Peugeot teammates next to each other. Sebastian Loeb, the only man to have taken a victory other than Kristoffersen this year. Timmy Hansen would desperately love to sign off this factory Peugeot career with a win. Matthias Ekström, P2 in the driver's standings this year. Another incredible performance from the Swede. And next to him, Kevin Hansen, who would love to take his first podium in the World Rallycross Championship on his last race in this factory Peugeot. All to play for. The championship is decided. There is no backward in here to be worrying about with Ekström. This is just a straight fight down to turn 1 and for 6 more laps under Table Mountain. Here we go. Eyes on the lights, eyes on the final big trophy of the year. Revs up, we're good to go. Good launch by both Volkswagen on the front row. Good launch from Hansen too. Loeb moves across the inside. Timmy Hansen trying to shut the door on Matthias Ekström. It's side by side for Solberg. Solberg's going to go on the handbrake round the outside. Kristoffersen kicks it tidy. Ekström looks up the inside. Ekström's got both the Peugeots from the back row. Ekström up to P3. Solberg's on slow through the apex. Ekström possibly going to pass him. Who's in the wall? Kevin Hansen almost in the wall on the outside in the dirt. Sebastian Loeb sideways. Kristoffersen with the whole shot. Ekström's gone up the inside of Solberg. Solberg over the curves on the inside back. Hansen up the inside of both. Timmy Hansen goes Joker. He has to. There's nowhere else to go. This is Kristoffersen from Solberg. Ekström, Kevin Hansen on the inside. Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Loeb go Joker.
These are guys knowing it's the final race of 2018. Ekström and Solberg have had a lot of fun throughout the season. Not scared to go door to door.
No, they're not.
And through that chicane, unbelievable.
What I love is the fact as well, they're like, penalties, I don't care. I'm going to see if I can win it. If I get a penalty, yeah, knock myself out. But this has all played into the hands of Johan Kristoffersen. Solberg runs wide on the run up to the jump. He's spun. Oh! Hansen hits him in the dust. Hansen hits him in the dust, and Loeb maybe too. So Hansen's car stricken. Solberg's car is parked in the middle of the road. This might be a red flag. It's not what we need. It's definitely a wave yellow. Solberg's car is stopped. Timmy Hansen facing the wrong way. Kristoffersen leading at the moment by 2.8 seconds. What are they going to do about this? The car is in the middle of the road. Are we going to see another red flag? Hopefully not right at the end of the season. But at the minute, Kristoffersen leading up in towards turn 1 and keeping eyes on the marshal post. We've got wave yellows. Solberg's climbing out of the car. He needs to get out quickly. The car's coming. Solberg climbs over the tyre barrier just in time. He's safe. Solberg is safe. Good work, Petter Solberg. What a gent. Out of the way. Solberg's car is parked. There he is on top of the Armco, and his teammate Kristoffersen heading now possibly for a record-breaking 11th out of 12 wins.
But was that a mistake from Solberg? I don't know what has happened there. We were so busy following the action in the front, but Timmy Hansen obviously clattering into him. So difficult, the visibility there, and that's taken him out as well.
Ekström's gone Joker. Loeb versus Ekström at the merge now. Ekström's going to come out in front of the merge. Kevin Hansen is in the mix here too. Timmy Hansen's Joker, but he's way off the back, so Ekström and Loeb, it could be Volkswagen, an Audi and a Peugeot on the final podium of the year, but at the minute Kristoffersen is miles out in front.
And Timmy's out, don't forget, Timmy's out, so it's Kevin that's chasing at the back. But Ekström had them covered right from the start, an amazing launch from the back row.
Loeb's all over the back of Ekström. Loeb is absolutely monstering the back of Ekström. He's right up underneath the rear wing of the Audi. Still got a couple of laps to go. Kristoffersen moves into the Joker lap now, so Kristoffersen's gone early. to try and secure this fantastic record. On the inside, though, we're talking about a race for second place. Matthias Ekström and Sebastian Loeb. Kevin Hansen will be desperately hoping these guys come together.
Ekström had a really bad last lap, a 43.1, obviously going for his joker, and that's brought Loeb right in there, and this is coming down to the wire. We know Kevin had a good run last year, made it to the final, didn't get off the line. Now he's in with a shout for the podium. These two are wanting to finish in a solid second position here because Johan's run away with it.
He has indeed. His teammate's car parked, unfortunately, at the jump. Christopherson, though, out front with a lap to go, unless anything desperately strange happens to that car. Of course, he has had a problem earlier on today. He's got a lap to go to make it 11 from 12. Ekström now has managed to gap Sebastian Loeb by just a little bit, and Kevin Hansen is going with them too.
Yeah, you can see the lap times. He was actually 0.2 quicker there, so I think Ekström's got his covered off. We know he came into the semi-final with all new tyres, so he's obviously got a bit better tyre life going into this final.
What a shame that Timmy and Petter went out of it, because this would have been, I still think Christopherson was going to get it because he was already out front, he got the whole shot, but it would have been an epic fight behind.
But listen, brave that the marshals have allowed this race to continue. We want to see a result here. It would have been awesome to have had everyone in it.
Johan Christopherson then through that last chicane. He's coming down to the hairpin, pretty much the last corner. He's got just one chicane to go. It's been an incredible season. He took his 8th TQ here in South Africa. He's going to take his 11th win of the season. It's 9 in a row. Christopherson gets legendary status. The double World Rallycross champion wins in South Africa. Incredible stuff. Ekström takes second, Loeb in third. The biggest drift you've ever seen from Christopherson around turn 1. Donuts in front of the commentary position. There he is. Go on, Johan. Loeb donuts, Kevin Hansen donuts. Everyone doing donuts. Come on, Matthias, join the party. Great stuff.
Wow, what an unbelievable race. Listen, this is why the fans race to this venue at Killarney. So stoked that FIA has brought the greatest show on earth to South Africa. We love it. Amazing.
There's Timmy. Oh, he's gutted.
Imagine the emotion for them, knowing it's the last race in the Team Peugeot colours, and to end up with... he had nowhere to go, ultimately. We see Petter walking up. I think he might have a chat to Timmy over there. Let's see if he's okay.
If Kevin might see Timmy.
Last year it was Kevin cheering Timmy along, and this year Timmy standing there supporting his brother.
The crowd coming down to greet statistically the greatest rallycross driver ever, a double World Rallycross champion, 11 out of 12 wins this year. As I say, I'm not sure that motorsport at this level has ever been dominated by one man so significantly. 8 points to Christopherson, 5 to Ekström, 4 to Sebastian Loeb. Kevin Hansen, Solberg and Timmy Hansen. Monster Energy Supercharger Award went to Petter Solberg before, unfortunately, he parked the car in the wall. Incredible performance from Christopherson this year. You cannot take it away from him. And all 3 of the factory cars represented on the podium here at the last race of 2018. There goes Christopherson rolling back with the number 1 on the car. That number 1 will be on the car again next year. Fantastic.
I'm going to say goodbye. Francois, you've got the list here. For myself, thank goodness. What a weekend it has been.
Scrutineering for the cars to do. Kevin Hansen down there as well. Ah, there we go. That's one of the Peugeot engineers with Timmy. I had a beer with Timmy and Kevin last night. They very rarely have a beer during a race weekend. Only one. They're having a beer. Susan and Kenneth were there. They were in the hotel bar. We had a lovely chat, and it's all quite emotional for them.
But you see how much it means to them as well.
I think we'll see them back. I cannot imagine the Hansen name not in Rallycross. Yeah, maybe they'll sign for other teams. Maybe we'll see a new team. Who knows? Here's a look back then at the last final of the year. Solberg was super wide, look. Ekström somehow snuck up the inside of Loeb. So, look, Solberg then runs a bit wide. Where does Ekström get? Everyone got checked up in the dust. I could see from the window what was going on. That was the contact with Ekström. Solberg goes, no chance, I'm going over the curve. Hansen has to go joker to avoid all of them, while Ekström kicks the dust up. Look at Ekström so close to the wall. And then in the background, is this where Solberg hit the wall? Yes, so Solberg's
we missed it in the dust.
Yeah, but we can see it from the window here at commentary. So we've been able to pick up a few things through the dust for you guys at home. Solberg by then had been clipped definitely by Hansen, possibly also by Loeb, and that was it. Christopherson didn't really have to, well, okay, he did have to fight for this because he was P16 at the end of Q1. He's got it done again and again and again. Crowd heading down towards the podiums.
Oh, you're okay.
I see it. Well, yeah,
Have you got your breath?
We're done. We're done, you know. Long season, but, you know, a brilliant season. And not for me, I've been very lucky, not just the World Rallycross Championship and RX2, Super 1600, Euros, touring cars, but also the brand new America's Rallycross Championship as well. ARX, we saw Scott Speed crowned the champion there ahead of his teammate Tanner Faust. You know, we saw Subaru as well, and it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Ford with Ken Block and co. But of course, in support of America's Rallycross, we had ARX2. And that season was dominated by a man who we've seen a lot in RX2. Conor Martell hasn't gone his way in quite the same way in RX2, but I promise you this guy was P8 in RX2. He won the first 3 rounds of ARX2. He was P2 in round 4, and he only retired in the final in round 5. If he hadn't done that, I think he'd have seen him win 4 out of 5. So Conor Martell, absolutely exceptional in America's Rallycross to be crowned the first ever ARX2 champion. Looking forward to ARX2 next year because it's going to be super competitive, just as RX2 has been this year. So a few clouds rolling in, that's it. I'm
not giving you a weather report.
No, you were good at weather earlier. Have you been watching the online? Morris
Can I say
quite the
thank you?
weather. You can say thank you.
I just want to say thank you for bringing the show to South Africa, because I think our fans really appreciate it. It's been another amazing event, so cool, really amazing.
Thanks, Morris. It's great to be down here in South Africa. We've received a wonderful welcome. Second time for the World Rallycross Championship down here. Finishing, of course, the season down here. The last of the standings. Totted up. Ekstrom taking P2 in the driver's standings. Loeb trying so hard with Hansen to take that final win. I think Peugeot thought it was on, but nobody could stop this man, Johan Kristoffersen.
And they're all here after an epic battle.
Kristoffersen climbs out the car. He'll meet the fans and possibly some of the team here too. You can see how much TQ meant to him earlier on today. Going nuts inside the car. It is an incredible season. It's an incredible achievement. He knows that. I don't think this will ever be matched. I really don't.
Once again comes to the mother city and takes...
There he is on top of the car with the number 1 on. And Johan Kristoffersen is the World Rallycross champion again. He retains that title with an incredible points total of 341. Look how far ahead he was. Matthias Ekstrom, P2, Andreas Backrund, P3. Great job by the Audi team to take those 2 spots on the podium, and EKS too. Sebastian Loeb moves up ahead of Peter Solberg by just a couple of points, and that, of course, is thanks to where Solberg finished the final here. So Solberg drops to 5th. He'd be gutted about that, but the team with his name on it, PSRX Volkswagen Sweden, is, of course, the manufacturer's champion as well. Timmy Hansen in 6th. Gronholm, a brilliant season. Hyundai up there with GRX, of course. Gronholm RX, a fantastic squad run by Pinamaki and Marcus Gronholm. Brilliant performance from them. Niklas, the most improved driver of the year, without a doubt. Kevin Hansen doing well to be in 8th place in the 3rd of the factory Peugeots. What a year. Everyone heading then for the podium, and then I suspect a few people might head for a party. Neil Cole has managed to get hold of a man that he's spoken to quite regularly this year. He is with the double World Rallycross champion and the winner of 11 out of 12 rounds this year, Johan Kristoffersen.
Johan, you didn't have to win here in South Africa to seal the championship, but you still won. 9 wins in a row and 11 out of 12. What does this mean to you?
It equals the record from Sebastian Vettel 2014, 9 wins in a row. But I have to say that it's quite emotional. It's this season comes to an end, and it's been a fantastic season for me. So yeah, it's really the World Championship title sinks in a little bit more now, and I really have to thank this great team. They have done everything for me. So I mean, thank you is a small word, but anyway. Really big thanks to them. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. The team atmosphere we have and all this stuff. But everyone knows about it all, because I've said every time since the first victory in Belgium 2017. But this one meant a lot to me.
Good. Well, enjoy the celebrations. You've earned them.
Thank you very much.
Johan Kristoffersen looking quite emotional there and playing a huge part, of course, in PSRX Volkswagen Sweden's win in the team's championship this year. EKS Audi Sport in P2 and Team Peugeot Total in P3. GRX Tanaco, good job by them, up in 4th. GC Competition on their 1st year in 5th. Holzberg's MSC in 6th place. Yeah, it clearly meant a lot there, didn't it, to Kristoffersen? 11 out of 12. This one means a lot. And I love that we spoke to him the other day. We did an interview with him, and it's like one of the stats. Well, yeah, actually, Sebastian Vettel did win 9 rounds in a row, and so that he had that on his mind.
But that is the hunger of the man.
Yeah.
It's like he really is pushing himself every race to be perfect, and he's had a perfect season, literally. Besides for Sebastian Loeb in that 1 round.
Here you go then, Pernilla Solberg, team manager for PSRX Volkswagen Sweden, up there to pick up the trophy. And of course, Johan Kristoffersen gets to pick up the first trophy, the big trophy. He is the 2018 FIA World Rallycross champion, retaining his title and breaking every record in the book. Great to see Pernilla up there too. She's going to pick up the team's trophy. Here you go.
What an unbelievable season for that team. And he can't go on enough about it, how well they work together, the atmosphere, the commitment to perfection, and what a season it's been.
Well, there we go. Kristoffersen and Pernilla Solberg up on the podium, picking up the spoils from an absolutely incredible year. What an absolutely fantastic season, particularly one man has had. 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship has been dominated by Johan Kristoffersen and the PSRX Volkswagen Sweden team. But we have seen some incredibly close, fantastic racing all year long. I hope you guys have enjoyed being along for the ride as much as we have enjoyed bringing you all the action. Every session live since Silverstone, and we're looking forward to bringing you more in 2019. The season, of course, starts there at one of our brand new events, Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi, on the 4th of April. Do not miss out. We're going to be expecting more sideways, more jumps, more fantastic World Rallycross Championship action. See you next year.